Side please. Emergency official business. Ma'am, side please. Side please. Thank you. Official business, sir. Ma'am, emergency. Please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
Woo! Baby. I think we got plenty of coffee, plenty of spotchka, and plenty of off-world Joao egg juice, and of course wizard juice here in the house at Six Scale Cantina. Is it possible that you are all watching Monday Night Raw? And I say, look, Brother Cousins is in the house. Jay, what's going on? Good to have you in here, brother.
Likewise, it's been a minute. I'm so glad to be back. How you been?
I've been pretty damn good. And I know that we're getting into a conversation back here about this arena suit Boba Fett and what's going on overseas and what's going on over here. And I think Anthony, who's also in the house, what's going on?
Is it this way? Is this way?
I don't know. I'm going to get all confused, baby.
Yep. No,
your arena
it's good.
suit's going to be shipping out, isn't it, dude? You said.
Yeah, I know. I just got the email saying shipped. So, hey, a quicker turnaround than the clone troopers, I suppose.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, but it's good to be here, man. It's been a minute. Like Jay said, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Absolutely. Good to have you in here. Good to have the Metamorphic Customs. Wait, I just pointed down at Jay. Let me go this way. There we go.
There we go. There it is.
I need more articulation there, Artist Desy. I need more articulation.
No, we're getting there. We'll get there. Glad to be here, man. Thank you for the invite. Can't wait to have this conversation. There's a lot of things to talk about. So it's not bad for Monday night, right? Let's get to it.
It's Monday Night Raw. And Joao, I think you're showing some pictures. You got some arena suit Boba Fett's for, what'd you say, $189 you're willing to sell them for over there?
189. Yeah, wait, 189 ship. Thank you so much for having me, Aries. It's Tuesday morning here. I'm still I'm groggy. I just woke up, but yeah, I think we will have a good time.
Where the heck are you? Are you in? Are you at like freaking Jakku?
Jakku, yeah. I'm just, and I'm having black melon juice.
Black melon juice from Jakku.
Yeah. Nice.
Ooh, baby. Well, listen, Doc Smizzle, you were just in here recently. It's good to have you back again, my man. Do you want to talk about Slave Leia tonight? I think both shows that you were on, we talked about that. What's going on,
she's
buddy?
A pretty common thread. I'm doing great. It's been a busy Monday, so I'm ready to, ready for Monday Night Raw and drinking some coffee, hanging out with Anthony, Six Scale Mafia, Brother Cousins, Desy, Big Breda. Welcome in, everyone.
Thank you.
Be sure to hit that like button.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing good because not only is Mafia, you got other Mafia guys in here right now that are going to join us. Check these guys out.
You're delicious.
Ciao, boys.
Pizza the Hut. That's right. That's awesome.
I think this show is going to be delicious. Listen, everybody in there, we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the arena suit Boba Fett, the chrome-plated Chrome Trooper. How about the chrome-plated Stormtrooper? Will shorter runs create new FOMO? And you have to wonder, and is Boba Fett Mandalorian Hot Toys' Star Wars new Iron Man? We're going to be getting into that as well. What's also going to be next for the Star Wars Hot Toys 1/4 scale line? We're going to be getting into that as well. So many other interesting topics, and we've got a lot of interesting people in here. Go ahead and let me know what table you're at. I'll serve you up. This panel will serve you all up. Let's go ahead and dive into it, baby. Right now. And what you gonna do when the Dark Jedi goes Monday Night Raw on you with not only 1, but 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6 figures, but 6 panelists in here. And what a great panel we got in here tonight. And what a great amount of people and awesomeness in the community in the chat here today. We've got Dockinator guys in the house who's at table 66. We've got a lot in here at table 66 as well. Valiant Archer is in the house. Kinky Sphincter, what is going on? Good to have you in here as well. The Insane One, a Cantina Insider in the house. The Thor is saying already he's parched, and we're all knowing he's sitting at table 2.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
Jesus.
The Thor. CT's, I love that scene. CT603 is in here. Friend of TK FOMO, come on. And the collector number 1 is in the house. Good to have the collector number 1 in here as well. Thule is also at table 66. Gosh, a lot of people really daring to sit at the most dangerous table here in the Cantina. The Mandalorian Huntress is in the house, also at table 66. All right, so listen, I guess I got to fill it up. Jay, because people just want me to play the clip. So here you go. Here you go. I'm serious, guys. That freaking clip, seeing the Emperor from the Revenge of the Sith just never gets old. Like I swear to God, I could watch that damn movie like every day, probably for a year, and not get bored of it. But it is like insane, everything that happens in Revenge of the Sith, and it goes so damn fast, but it is so damn good. And I tell you what, I love the Emperor. I love the Emperor from the OT. That's the OG. That's the awesome one. But Mafia, man, I'd love table 66 to get the Emperor. Revenge of the Sith, dude. That figure would be, I don't know. I got a feeling like that figure would sell more than the OT one. I don't know why. I just get a feeling right now.
Generational, I think, right? Because there's a lot of people that grew up in the prequel era and the Clone Wars, I mean this Palpatine's awesome, a Jedi one, but like I think so. I think it would. If he has like kind of that red or I think he would. I really do. I don't know if they'll do it, but he would definitely sell.
It definitely sell. But Charlie the Unicorn is in the house saying Aries is serious, no hat. Well, I used a little Miracle Grow today, so I was able to keep it off. Oh my goodness. The Single Songwriter is in the house. What is going on, Single Songwriter? Good to have you in here as well. I'm going to try to get to everybody we can before we go ahead and get into everything over here. The Big Dog Pound is in the house. Woo! It's my best Ric Flair that I could do, but I'll never live up to the Nature Boy for sure. Dockinator is also at table 66. What the hell is going on with this particular table? Howard Potts is in here. Goodness gracious. El Profesoro Mario is in the house. It was great to have him on the panel here just the other day. Good to have you in here, Mario. Lane Kramer also in the house as well. Great to have you in here, my friend. Ruben G, Cantina Insider, also in here as well. What's up, Pedro? Welcome inside. Modest 23. Great to have you in here tonight for sure. And gosh, so many in here. William Cote, hello back at you, my good friend. Good to have you in here. And what's up, Roderick? Nice to have you in here as well. And goodness gracious, Punisher is in here too. And there you go. There you go. So many in here. Keep going on in the chat. But yeah, there's Arena Suit Boba Fett is kind of selling for an incredible amount of money here very, very quickly. And I'll start off with you, Brother Cousins, and we can just have a conversation like we were doing backstage. But it's selling for like $600-700.
Oh.
here in the U.S. And Mafia was just saying his was shipping out today. I've been seeing some notifications from others that they're getting it shipped out from Sideshow. But I mean, I want to start it off like this because there's so much to talk about with it.
Yep.
And I got a topic that we're going to get into, but just starting off with Arena Fett, Sideshow really screwed up on this, which I think brings it, at least in my view, a little bit more attention because it's like, they put this out. It was going to come out in 2023. Honestly, that's why I didn't. But I was like, oh, this is going to be around. So
Right.
I didn't even think. I don't pre-order anyway. But if it's going to be exclusive, you only have so much time. Oh, but then that went away, and then they were putting 6 up at one time, and then they went ahead and fixed that. So I think that there's a little story with this figure as well. I don't know if that helps in making it hot, but it's a little bit of a mess up. It's a little bit of a frack up by Sideshow.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that was the thing that, I didn't jump at it when it first came out. I wasn't too familiar with that suit in the comic, to be honest. I was looking at it, I was like, it looks cool, but I don't know about it. And then second brother, my real life brother, he's all into the comics. He was like, dude, that's the arena suit. And I went and did some research on it and did like a quick YouTube video. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, it's the story behind this piece. I'm like, okay, wow. And then I started to think about it. I was like, you know what? Something's telling me this is going to be hot. Kind of like the animated Boba from back in the day. Like, I don't know. With Boba, especially with this type of Boba Fett, a lot of people still love this version of Boba Fett. So, yeah, I was like, maybe this is a hot one. And then I missed it initially when it came out. When it was, over in Hong Kong. It was like, I couldn't get it from Toys Wonderland or any of those other resellers because it just went up in value. I was like, okay, I'll just wait till Sideshow gets it. And then, like you said, when Sideshow was a lot of weirdness, they were saying it was going to be 2023. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not coming out. Like, wow, okay. I thought exclusives dropped quicker. Then they changed the date on that. Then they, provided the link, and I was able to get it. And then it was the whole thing of waiting on it. I'm glad to hear that Anthony says that his is shipping. I'm actually going to go check mine to see if mine's shipped. It's like, I can't wait now. But it's a great piece. It's a great figure, but I'm not exactly sold on the fact that because it's like today, what is a Hot Toys exclusive? Because sometimes they say they're exclusives and sometimes they're around. You see them around, like the Armorer. Armorer is exclusive. You can still buy the Armorer right now. Like, is this going to happen with this piece? We don't know.
Well, what's interesting about it is when you go look at the Armorer right now, everybody up at Sideshow, and we've been seeing this since, San Diego Comic-Con, and possibly, I can't even remember from the May 4th stuff. They've been having specials. They've been having coupons, sometimes 5% off, all the way up to 20% off on some of these figures, free shipping, $5 shipping. I mean, I don't think that they like giving away the shipping and some of the prices on the Armorer. That's an exclusive. That should be gone. So you have to wonder, Desy, is it possible that they were like, hey, you know what? We're not going to be stuck with these figures where we just got to give away 20%, $5 off, $10 off, whatever the heck it is. All of a sudden, Arena Suit Boba Fett comes out as an exclusive from the same event this year. It's gone. Chrome, the chrome plated clone trooper with the two helmets, gone. So you have to wonder, are we starting to see a trend here that they're kind of like, hey, we can't keep doing the same thing in 2023 that we did this year. So are they actually changing?
I sure hope so. They've been watering down their own brand with the, enormous stocks. And I know that's a little bit of blame is on the collectors for ordering, canceling, but I really think it's on Sideshow and Hot Toys. So to see this kind of, I wouldn't call it a pattern yet, although it happened with Chrome and Boba, but I do hope that that's the case. I hope they're limiting their numbers. And this is the perfect two figures to test the waters for as far as limiting numbers, because you're not creating new tools except for maybe the spear or whatever that comes with Boba Fett. But you're not creating new tools. So all you have to do is paint an existing figure black, right? And just limit the numbers. So the same thing with Chrome. Perfect figures to test it out. I hope we start to see this not only on exclusives or rare figures, whatever you want to call them, but across the line, make it so that enough people who want them can get them, but don't have it in stock. It's hard to balance it, but hopefully we start seeing this as an actual pattern going forward.
Yeah, and you know what's real interesting about it, Mafia? I don't know. Is it more? I would have to think that, from our brother cousins and Desy are talking about here. Is it? I think is it more Sideshow or is it more Hot Toys with these lower runs? I would have to think it's Sideshow. They're the major distributor, so they're the ones saying, "Hey, we'll go ahead and take this." I know from just being in manufacturing and production for years, and I think you are too. If someone that you're selling to is saying, "Hey, I'm not going to take this year," unless they've got a contract for it for a certain amount of time, they're gonna be like, "Hey, nah, you know what? We're going to take a little bit less this time." And I would think that that's more coming from Sideshow, and probably because I mean, sometimes companies, let's face it, Mafia, they'll go ahead and they'll put out a coupon because they want to attract new collectors. Hey, come on in, buy from me. Buy here. We want you to come in. We're going to give you a discount. But they don't want to freaking do like what they're doing. It looks like that they're losing their ass on some of these. So maybe they're making some adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are losing on a lot of stuff. But I think that also has to do with the uprising over the past year of like resellers overseas and like massive undercut products. So Sideshow can only go so low, right? So that's why they can offer these 10% or 15%. Because that's within their margin. If they go any lower, they're maybe breaking their contract or they're losing that overhead. So I think there's a lot of that going on here domestically as well, where like you were saying, like Sideshow could be like, hey, you know what? We didn't really get a lot of pre-orders on these, this and that. Maybe we'll get less, right? But on the other hand, it's also Hot Toys too, because we're like 140 something pre-orders, like through all the properties, right? Mm-hmm. So then as a distributor, you're like, hey, dude, this is like massively flooded. So I don't think we're going to sell like something that's really popular, like maybe Endgame Cap, right? But he's still in stock, right? But I'm sure they had a huge batch number for something like that. Would they have the same batch number for, a B or C or D list figure or, faceless figures like troopers, grunts, things like that, right? So we're in a weird time right now, man, in 2022, because of that. I think that so many figures coming, so many figures still sitting, they have to pay. Sideshow has to pay for, warehousing, right? They have storage, so they can only, I can't imagine how filled, you know what I mean, their coffers are in the warehouse. Like they probably have so much stuff sitting. So, but then there's that factor of not just domestic, but I mean with global, right? Like certain things will sell much, much faster overseas or in the Asian markets, right? I mean, we all know how successful Iron Mans are. So I think there's a lot of blame to go around, right, on both sides, right? On one end, I think Sideshow Hot Toys, I think, needs to low batch to just catch up realistically, right? And then if they can catch up, they're going to give Sideshow some breathing room, right? Let's start emptying out these storages. Let's catch up. Otherwise, I feel like both of them are drowning, and then we're kind of getting caught in that. You know what I mean? Because there's just too much. So I think you're right though, to a point. Sideshow's definitely probably like, hey, we need to ease up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that you bring up a good point in the fact that, hey, they're making let's allow Sideshow to breathe a little bit. Let's make these smaller runs, and the proof is in the pudding, because what they're seeing, Anthony, is, hey, okay, well, we made a smaller run of Arena Fett. How did that compare to the armor? Gone. Oh, okay, we made a smaller run of the chrome-plated, Chrome Trooper. Oh, it's gone. We don't see the black chrome-plated Death Trooper gone yet, but we'll have to keep an eye on that to see what happens there. But I think Sideshow is seeing that too.
Two of those.
You could still order two. Now, can you order any more than two or up to two?
Up to two. Two.
See, that's the thing. Could you order two with the arena suit Boba Fett? Or could you just order one when they fixed it?
Well, originally you could order 6, and then they went back on it, and then they said 1. But if you ordered more than 1, they capped you at 2. Like they almost
That makes
grandfathered
no
you in.
sense. Like why did they? Do you think they should have grandfathered you in with that with 2, or should they just have went back and said, "Hey, we're canceling all those out and just giving you the 1"? What do you think?
I mean, I personally they should have just went to 1. Right?
That's what I think. They should have just
for
went
some
to
reason.
1.
I don't know if it was like they were just being graceful or something, you know. So like if you ordered 6, then they would refund you 4 back. And then for everybody else, it went back down to 1 if you were to, you know, if you're fortunate enough to get on a wait list or something like that, right? I think they just totally blundered that whole thing. Like we were talking
It's like a
earlier about
fiasco. Yeah, because it's like, okay, well, we're gonna grandfather you at a 2, but then everybody else doesn't get 2; they get to have 1. It's absolutely crazy, Doc. With that, do you think that there's any chance, Doc, that they will that Hot Toys will step in and make more of these? I don't think that they will, because I think that would piss people off. But I think it pisses people off no matter what, one way or the other. I felt like if this was just a Hot Toys mess up, they would come in, they would do something about it like they do with Tony Stank, with Peacemaker, with this, with that, with this. I don't know with this though, but there's like a part of me that can't, that feels like they may do that, but still nonetheless, it was a debacle, as Single Songwriter put right here as I'm putting up on the screen.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Because I could kind of see why it was handled poorly. I mean, the whole release date window is completely incorrect. Being able to order 6 and then going back on that and canceling out orders. I mean, so I guess, yeah, it was a debacle for maybe others. I only ordered 1 and I pre-ordered it right away. I don't take chances with Toy Fair exclusives. You just never know sometimes. And I was actually very shocked that it sold out when it did, just because I did think it was going to be another Armor, another Whiplash, so on and so forth. We've seen it over the last couple of years. Yeah. The Toy Fair exclusives aren't selling out. So I'll be very surprised if it does come back to like a pre-order status or like an in-stock status. I don't think they'll make any more than what they, but I honestly, deep down the very bottom of the cockles of my heart, I do feel like somehow it's going to pop up again and somehow Palpatine return kind of way. But I hope not. I hope it's finally a limited run.
Yeah, because I hate seeing people freaking Joao paying $600-700 for this. I mean, it came right in, like with the Mud Trooper, that went on, waitlist and never made it in stock. It didn't go to $600-700. The same thing with the heavy infantry, Mandalorian. The same thing like with the Rey and Dio, even though it was in stock for a few weeks. It takes a little bit of time to simmer up. This thing is like, oh, it's gone. It's an exclusive. And I think it took everybody it took me by damn surprise, baby Joao, because the Armor is in there. And then I first see it, this is going to be shipping in 2023. Look at the Armor. They got coupons on it already. I don't have to order this damn thing now. All of a sudden, change. A little bit ridiculous, Joao, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think this has to do a bit with how much they allot to each market. I think, for example, for China market, with Marty McFly, last year they gave 300 pieces. It sold out pretty fast, but it's still available at Sideshow at this moment. You still can get it on Sideshow.
Wherever the 300 pieces were overseas is what you were saying, right? In Hong Kong.
No, what's for China market. There was 300 pieces for Marty McFly, sold out in a couple of days, and it's gone. But in Sideshow, still available. This Arena Boba Fett here, it's not available. You cannot buy at the official stores, but people bought a lot of them and they are selling them out. And they cannot sell them because it's not a popular figure. But let's say these have to do a lot with the market. Here, the IG-11 is expensive. Inside shows still at stock. Different markets have different demands.
Well, didn't they say, and I think that with this one, and someone in here, correct me if I'm wrong, and someone in the chat tell me, but I think for some reason with the Arena Suit Boba Fett, it was actually numbered, like not only the 300 in Hong Kong, but I heard, and I don't know if it's true, that they numbered it for the U.S. or Europe, that it was like 1,500, or somehow we knew that it was a small run. Do any of you guys know that?
I never heard of the numbered runs overseas.
Someone in the chat knows what I'm talking about. go ahead and let me know if that's actually a reality. I don't remember them actually numbering any of these, but I was thinking with the Arena suit Boba Fett that they did. Ruben G is putting it here in the chat. Cantina Insider. I heard that also Aries is what he's seen, and Single Songwriter puts in here correct. I've seen it directly from a China website. An Oilers Workshop said I heard 2,000 worldwide total. Well, does anybody know? Like, is that the number? Is that what they actually put on the web? That's interesting.
I heard
if that's what it
something
is.
like that, but
Yeah.
I do know that like what we did see was the secret base numbers, right? When that first came
right.
out, they said that they were limited. It was 500, I forget, but they advertised it as such. But like Joao was saying, is that that was just for secret base. That's their inventory. But as he pointed out, it's still available in China. It's just secret base had that number of allotment, right, for their customers in Hong Kong, and those sold out right away. So I don't know how many, but clearly it's a lower number, right? I think they 300 for that store. They probably have some excess just for the other shops, just to circulate around, and then some globally, right, outside of Asia for us. So I still think it's a low number. I mean, clearly with Sideshow, it sold out in less than 24 hours.
And I think Single Songwriter saying here, Anthony, Arena Fett was the only one that had a total of 3,000 globally. So if that's the number, that's a small freaking run for Boba Fett, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and I think partly, and I know a lot of people didn't know about this, but it's not, and I've said this before on my channel, is that it's not Hot Toys, Howard Chan. It's not that, because people were like, whoa, Arena Fett. 80% of the people didn't even know what it was. The other 20 knew it was from the comic, but everybody was like praising Hot Toys, like, oh, they came out of nowhere. No one was expecting this, but we got to remember that this all comes from the top, because Hasbro put theirs out too, the Black Series. Right. So this is like a Disney thing, right? They're saying, okay, here's the Arena Fett. I want you guys to make this. I want Hasbro to make this, right? Because you can get the Arena Fett, in Black Series. So it wasn't like this come out of nowhere thing, right? This was all pre-planned. We just don't know, right? Because we're the consumers. They have a schedule, they have their strategies, their releases, and then when we see it, but I feel that because it's from the comic and that comic's fairly new, nobody knows. Yeah, and the majority of people don't know what it is. Therefore, that is a perfect exclusive. That is you know what I mean? Yep. And we know that since we were kids. Like, there's always been exclusive style figures of something on the market, and that has it written all over it, right? It's from the comic. It's a small, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say a rare piece, but it's definitely a chase piece. It's a low run, limited exclusive event.
It's a chase figure. That's a good point.
I think they need to be doing more of that, personally.
Well, Mandalorian Huntress says, on top of that, Anthony, a brother cousin, she says, come on now. The limited Hot Toy figures made collecting more exciting. I'm over figures that sit in stock for years and end up in the bargain bin.
Yes.
Mandalorian Huntress is saying, brother cousins, bring on more limited Hot Toys. So thank you for that, Mandalorian Huntress, for sure. It actually goes into one of the topics, which is going to be number 2, but I'll bring it up over here. Should Hot Toys number releases? If you can start that off, brother cousins, but also answer Mandalorian Huntress's comment there.
I totally agree. Exclusivity is what, that's the thing of all collectors. I mean, nobody wants their collection to be worthless, or just being in a bargain bin. We've been seeing that a long year, and and a lot of companies that shall name nameless on this stream, but we've been seeing that. We've been seeing our collections being undervalued for I would say for the last 6 months. It's kind of been crazy. So doing numbered runs, definitely, I'm all for it. I know they're starting to experiment with that. I know they're experimenting that with one of the Loki TV show figures. I think it's the President Loki figure. They're coming up with a limited bundle that comes with like a whole bunch of little tchotchkes that come with it and everything. But it's a limited release. But yeah, I think that's I like that. I totally agree with Mandalorian Huntress on that, and I just think that's the way. I think that's the way to go for not every release, but you know, for certain ones now, it
Every
is fun.
release.
It's fun of it. You say
Yeah.
every release,
And you know what's in every release. Desy, let's go to you. I mean, I don't know. I brought this up before. I know some people are like, oh, they really can't do it. It wouldn't work. But I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting if they would go ahead and start doing that. I feel like even with like, you know, we heard in there, okay, 3,000 globally, they were able to put out for the arena suit Boba Fett. But they didn't put out any global numbers for like the two chrome plated stormtroopers, for instance, or any of the other figures. So they're kind of like picking and choosing. Should there be like a mixture of it? There's almost like a mystery. It's like, well, how many of these did they make? Is it really 2,000 or 3,000? Is it 6,000? You know, did they only make 3,000, for instance, of the armor? I don't think so, because I think that would have been gone with a figure like hers. Albeit she's not as popular as Boba Fett, but she's still a pretty important, you know, character for the Mandalorian. But there's a lot of mystery and a lot of like, I don't know what's going on here. So where do you see the balance with that? Because I think they may do some lower productions, is what we were talking about, but I feel like we just don't know.
You know, as a collector and as a consumer, I would like everything to be numbered. However, realistically, if I put myself in their shoes, and as a consumer, balancing it both out, I am okay as long as they don't have to announce the numbers. Just control your production. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people like to pretend and say things and essentially just pretend like supply and demand, the concept doesn't exist. It's like, well, as long as everybody can get a figure, that's what's important. It's like, no, the more stock that there is, the less demand, the less people want it. People will want it more if it's rare. Whether you like that concept or not, it is true. So I stick to, they don't have to number anything. It'd be great if they did. I'd love that. But control your stock. Even, yes, Sideshow is a little bit to blame. They're the distributor. They're placing the orders. But that ultimately is in control by Hot Toys. And I know it's hard. I say that with all humility. When someone's throwing money, when somebody's throwing money at you saying, hey, produce this much, and you can produce that much, it's hard to say no. Let's make sure we don't water down our brand. Let's not produce that many. It's hard to make that decision. But they're getting to a point where they need to, I think. And I think they might be actually doing it. Let's see.
And it's interesting, Doc. No, go ahead. I thought someone was going to say something, but Doc, yes. Single Songwriter says no. If Hot Toys number their releases, they will end up out of business. Their main goal is to sell as many figures as possible to keep the business going into the future for R&D and licenses. And then he goes on to say maybe some figures, but not all. A private company will be out of business in short time. And I'm going to just put this up here, let you go real quick, Jay, before I go to Doc. Single Songwriter. That's why they should only do this for exclusive. And it's real interesting where it seems like they did it for the arena suit Boba Fett, but it's a mystery now with some of the other figures that they put out, like the Neo from the new Matrix movie is a summer showcase exclusive, right? And we don't have those global numbers or anything like that.
Well, that's the thing. If it, what is the old adage? If it doesn't have a number on it, it's really not exclusive. Like all exclusives should have that number on it to be like, this is what you got. Like even with, I forget what piece I recently bought, but it was supposed to be a limited number quantity, but there was no number on it, which is I call shenanigans. It's like if it's no number on that piece, it's not exclusive. And I feel that way about Hot Toys. I mean, if they're being cagey with the number of how many they release, I think it's more of a supply and demand. They probably release a couple of 100,000, and then they're like, okay, it's selling. Oh, people want more. Go ahead and make more. And then that's what it's all about money. It's about capitalism. I get it. But if they really want to call it, my thing is, if you're going to do that, don't put exclusive on it. That's my whole thing. If it's exclusive, it should be numbered.
Well, Doc, Bob Darcy says Hot Toys should number their figures, and they can make as many as they want, but number them. That's a good point too.
Yeah, they sure can. I I'm not. I don't really care either one way or another whether they do number them or not. I do agree with what Desy says. Though, control your production runs, determine how many you want to make, and stick with that, and don't try and make as many as you can just because you can have the ability to do so. For exclusives though, like toy fairs and the Shanghai exclusives and things like that, yeah, maybe it would be cool to have a number on the box with those and see what number out of how many you got. That would be cool. I've always been kind of interested in that when it comes to like football cards and things like that. So that would be cool to have on a box for the Hot Toys too. But those just go in storage.
Yeah, and Joao, AJ, our Argua says, I even have numbered Asmus pleases. If they can do it, Hot Toys can do it.
Yeah, sure. They just need to stamp a number in the back of the base plate, the display base. They just stamp the numbers there. You got let's say 1,500 pieces. You got the number 300 something. Then you have. That's a limited edition. I think for Toy Fair exclusives would make sense, not for general releases, but for Toy Fair exclusives, or for example, like when they open a new store and they have these exclusives, like happened just now with these 3 figures that we saw last week. I think would make sense. For some collectors, that's important. Let's say, for example, for statues collectors, that's very common to have a edition number on each piece. And
it sure is. It absolutely sure is. And I think it would make Hot Toys a little bit even more special with that, Joao. Be honest.
I think Hot Toys did. I cannot be sure, but I think they did one figure like that. I think was an Iron Man that was available only if you had the bank account in Hong Kong. There was a special Iron Man that's going for thousands of dollars. I think they only made 50 at that time. That you had to have a bank account open in the bank, and you had to have a certain amount of money inside, and you would get the chance to get that Iron Man. They did that some years ago. I don't know if you guys remember. That was Iron Man exclusive for that bank.
Interesting stuff. Mafia Joe P says, I can see it now. All the figures are numbered, and the people out there who will pay a premium for numbers 1 through 10 laugh his butt off.
Well, that's true. That's one of the. It really is. It's funny, but it's also not, because there's people like that in statue communities that want that number 1, or that 1 through 10, that low. I mean, to each their own, but
or specific numbers, right? Like that.
Right, or specific.
But why the number 1 to 10 is better than 10 to 20?
Well, if you're just the beginning. I mean, I don't know. Some people are into that, but I feel like at the very minimum, the exclusives should be literally that. They should be numbered, and that's a wrap. But for me personally, I think every Hot Toy. That's what I was saying. I was like, if Hot Toys just said, "Hey, yo, this is the number," it doesn't necessarily have to be exclusive, like printed, on the base or on the foot or anything like that. But if they just the very at least would release production numbers publicly, I don't think they would, but you know what I'm saying? So like whatever new figure comes out, Cable just came out. It'd be neat if they said, hey, there's 5,000 Cables worldwide or whatever. Because remember, there's other, I collect more than just Hot Toys, right? There's other companies out there that is like, most enter-based stuff I have is numbered straight out, right? I mean, I've got the new Dream Team Michael Jordan numbered, the Jordan 2-pack numbered, right? You get a certificate with the number on it, and that's a wrap. And when it's sold out, it's sold out. And I'm telling you, if Hot Toys started doing that, at the very least, these exclusives, that's going to benefit everybody. It's going to benefit Sideshow. It's going to benefit Hot Toys. Yep. It's going to make everybody chase things. It's like what Doc was saying earlier. I mean, like most people don't. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a lot of people that don't really like Boba Fett that much. But that Arena Fett just instantly sparked them, and they're like, "Oh, it's exclusive. It's low. I must get it. I got to get it. I don't even know what it's from, but I got to get it." Right? Or the clone Chrome Troopers.
Right.
Okay, yeah, and they may like clones and stuff, but because it's being advertised as something low, it's just human nature to like want something that you can't have, or it's hard to obtain, right? So there's like a psychological aspect there for a lot of people, and I feel like if they did that, at the very least, the toy fairs, summer showcase, all that stuff, the exclusive stuff, give people a number, come out publicly and say, hey, listen, we're only making 400 of these, period. You'll have a unique, even if it's just cheap, like a piece of paper that's in the box that just says, hey, this is number 72 of 400. It's people will buy that up. People will eat that up.
Yeah. Well, Mafia OG fan just says to you here, how dare you at Six Scale Mafia? So Mafia, now I have to go ahead and play this clip. This clip in.
I'm Boba Fett. I'm here to see the mayor. Boba Fett. Do you have an appointment?
Well, I'm not saying everybody, right? No, I mean,
I know you're not. Yeah,
well, you gotta, sometimes people look at that in your words, you're like, oh my god, but no, there's a lot of people. I've got people messaging me that were like, yo, I bought Arena Fett just so I could flip them, and that's fine.
Oh, absolutely, not
I respect the
hustle,
but
into that exactly.
Or I bought it because of FOMO. It just happens. It just happens.
You're 100% right, dude. And that's some funny stuff. And look, I'm going to bring this up onto the screen. You talk about FOMO, Anthony. So look, and you know what's funny about this? Usually, like these kind of sellers like him are higher, but right now this is actually, what's funny about this? This is lower than than some of the prices selling in the U.S. Currently. It actually struck me as very odd. Going into this, and I'll go to you, brother Cousins here. When this first started coming on, because it was selling $850, $900, and here comes Tim Cent coming on, and some of these other ones like, oh yeah, I'll sell it to you for $650, and boom, sold. Selling it this way, and selling probably a little bit more here, but it's high. And I know Joao was saying, hey, there is somebody up where he is in China, and they're having trouble selling this. They should maybe try and sell it like Tim Cent is, who's not having a difficulty here doing it. But you have to wonder with stuff like this, brother Cousins, with the next topic I want to bring up. Will shorter runs create new FOMO? Because I don't know, dude. I can get a Moff Tarkin for probably this price. $25. I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I definitely think it will. That's going to get everybody, back into pre-ordering and all that. And and it's a good strategy. It is, because it gets everybody back on board with pre-ordering, as well as a good strategy for the stores.
So you think it's partly a strategy, not just because they can't sit on inventory, but like, hey, it's a strategy, because that's a good point if you're bringing that up.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a strategy to get everybody back on board and pre-ordering, because a lot of people have stopped pre-ordering, and it's kind of a thing in the community right now. But now, but one thing about not pre-ordering, the backside of it is the whole thing of that people the companies don't know how many to produce. They don't know how many to produce at all. So if you short run it, and I think that's what Hot Toys is going to have to do anyway to get through all, because they're way behind. All these releases we got coming out, all the stuff that's been delayed, they're going to have to do shorter runs just to keep up. So yeah, it's going to create a fear. It's going to be fear of missing out all over the place, because everybody. I think that's why a lot of people are running to get this Boba. And I think, like Anthony was saying, like he alluded to, there's a lot of people. I know a couple people that's buying this Arena Boba Fett to sit on it and flip it, really, because they think it may be the next. It may be the next big thing. They thinking it may be the next the animated Boba Fett. So yeah, definitely.
And honestly, it's not a bad point that they're having, because you have to wonder, with only 3,000 of these made globally, is it possible that they made more of the animated Boba Fett? And I say most likely they must have. I don't think that they just made 3,000. Maybe they did, of that.
No,
but-
they absolutely made more because you guys got to remember, animated sat on Sideshow forever.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Yeah, for a long time, that one, right?
Yeah, and
So-
then when he eventually sold out, it was still a $300 figure for 4 months.
So, guys,
5 months.
how does this not? How does this not? Give me a scenario how this doesn't rival the animated Fett, which is around $600, $700, $750 right now in the secondary market. How does it not rival it then?
You need to give him time. You need to give it time. Give it 3-5 years.
Absolutely.
3-5 years. This might be the way it's going right now. Like, where do you think this will sit in 3-5 years? I guess
This has a potential to be very high within a year.
Within a year.
Within a year, because it's
I
already
think-
sold out.
I think it's like here you got a perfect example why you can see those huge discounts with Team Sand and Toys Wonderland. Why you can see Troopers at $100 and $90.
Mm-hmm.
Selling the figure at $649, he has a profit of $400 per figure.
It's a lot of profit.
So,
so
you can see that he then can afford to lose money on Troopers that are not selling, and sell it over the normal price, lower than the normal price, because he will not lose money. He's winning $400 per figure here on this Boba Fett. That's a lot of money.
That is huge profit. I would just say real quick, I don't think it will surpass animated, personally. And the reason I say this is because I come from the comic book world too. And animated Fett is legitimately the first appearance of Boba Fett.
There you go.
So when you have
it
those
is. That's the holiday special, right, Anthony?
Yeah, so those are like key issues in comics, right? First appearance of whomever, right? It's your very first debut. Whereas one could argue that, this Arena Fett is his first appearance in the comic is this outfit, but we're talking character. You know what I mean? The actual character. So I think animated at some point the Six Scale collectors, some switch hit where they're like, oh, this is the first appearance, and then it shot up overnight.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like Joao's saying, we all Hot Toys need mature. They need a mature date because we don't know. I mean, whatever we have out that's out now, we're living in the now. So we can't possibly know. Like some things you'd think are like the most ridiculous figure, all of a sudden is like in a few years' time, like triple the value. You're like, well, I never saw that one coming. So it's difficult. It's
I already
so
said
hard to
that
predict.
those Mark 85 battle damage that now are in bargain bin in 5 years, you will see the price will go up.
Oh yeah.
On a lot of them, they will. I mean, you're seeing that actually, Joao. I'm going to use the Joao and Gonk droid as for instance. I mean, they look like they couldn't give those away, and now like I'm looking at that figure, I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's in the $300 range. To be honest with you, I mean, I guess as an OT fan, I understand it, but it's just very interesting to see that's
it's
what
a
happens.
serious problem for me, I'll tell you that much, because that's one that this is what happens when we collect forever. And if you collect multiple properties, which is why I've kind of really streamlined over time, like how I want to collect. The Jawa Gonk droid is not old.
No,
it was
not.
still in
It's
stock.
not
It was
old.
still in stock on. So I'm sitting here on Sideshow, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely need this. This needs to go with my original trilogy.
Yep.
But then the Mandalorian show started coming out with figures. So I was like, well, shit, let me pick up this Durasteel Mando. And then Qui-Gon finally came out. I was like, well, let me pick up Qui-Gon. It's just a Jawa and a Gonk droid. I'll get it.
Yep.
And then I didn't get it because I kept grabbing all this other shit. And now this is like the Jawa Gonk 2-pack is like I only need like 6 figures from the entire OT. And then I have every single thing. And the Jawa Gonk droid's one of them. I was like, damn it. Like I should have just grabbed him. But you know what I mean? But that's what happens. We get distracted by shiny things, right? They hit us with new stuff, and then we're like,
Exactly.
I'll get it eventually.
Well,
And then you forget about it and it's gone.
The Thor 2941 says, I'll trade my second Arena Vet for an animated Vet. He may be able to do that, guys. So where do you guys see that this, and you guys know, and I've talked to some of you about this offline. You guys know I hesitated for weeks. People reach out, hey, Aries, why don't you have this on the market chart? I said, because it's kind of weird. I said, when was the last time a figure sold out? It went for $800 on there. And I said, I think it's going to be a little bit lower once it starts coming out. But how much low is it going to be if it really is a small global release? So right now you see that this was selling 800. Tim Sense come on, Toys for Adults. A lot of these guys coming on, some 675, 600, 700. So you can sell to the US. Where does this land in a few months? What do you guys think? And whoever wants to start that off.
400. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, 400. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's gonna taper down.
Yeah.
$400.
I agree with the 400 in a few months. And then it goes
now that
back
it's
up.
shipping stateside, demand's probably going to go down because everyone's going to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, we're seeing it right now with the clone Chrome Troopers.
Yep. Yeah, those things are
those
right
right
down
now.
to retail back from on most places.
Yeah. So it's just
Yeah,
it's people are literally riding the wave, and then as you know, waves come down. I mean, it's just what happens. It's not to take away from those figures, but I think for a lot of people riding that hype wave, right? So again, the Chrome clones are out. We see it. Their prices are it's stabilizing. So yeah, I think 450 is probably where it's going to land for a little while.
Yeah, I could see that. Because honestly, Anthony, I mean, and even though you could say the production numbers are lower, 3,000, it seems like this is a lot more readily available. I mean, I don't see this many Tarkins, Grand Moff Tarkin, for instance, which they made more of, but available on eBay or anywhere right now to buy. Do you? I mean, so I think it's like, even though it's higher numbers, it's just more rare right now in a way.
In a way, and you're right. It's, you know, as far as not really calculating it into the market is because it's an anomaly right now. This figure is an anomaly versus, you know, with Tarkin is old. So a lot of people who bought Tarkin may just not be into Hot Toys groups. They may not be in Hot Toys YouTube's channel, nothing, right? So it's they hold on to their figures. They're old. Maybe some have broke, have been lost. Those numbers are finite. You know what I mean? So as the years go by, there's less and less available for sale. So whereas with this one, yeah, we do have kind of an approximate number, I guess, of how many they've released, but it's still so new. And the fact is that the majority of collectors don't have him. But we're going to have a different conversation next week when everybody has it.
Yeah, and then it depends how many collectors hold to the figures and how many of them will want to get rid of them within a month. Because this is something that's happening lately a lot. You see people selling figures within 1 month after getting them. They just want to get rid of them and get the new one. You go to Facebook groups, you see everyone selling figures that they just received weeks ago.
Yep.
And
every week we see it.
So it depends how well how many collectors will really keep this figure, or they will just say, okay, I really don't like it. Maybe once they start to sell it for 300, 350, the price will go down. So in just my opinion, if you bought one to sell, give it 3 years. Don't sell it now.
Yeah. It might be higher. No, it's a good point, Joao. But let me bring this up because I think the Mandalorian Huntress brings up another good counterpoint here, because I can see it this way as well. Arena Fett will stay high. You guys don't realize Fett goes way beyond just Hot Toys collectors. I'm in a Fett collector groups, and all they collect is Fett anything. That's part of what we're going to be talking about today. I think it is a good point. And also that brings me back then, guys. Okay, there's only 3,000 of these. And if Joao is right that it depends on how many people unload it, where some people are like, oh, it's Fett. Even though I don't really want it, I'm going to hold on to it. I guess we really don't know. She brings up a good point. And if she's right, then I could actually see it staying. I'm not saying exactly here where Tim Cent has it, but maybe more like 550 or 600. What do you guys think about this point?
You know, don't hate me. She knows. But, I mean, look at Vintage Fett. Not a lot of money. You know, 40th anniversary, not a lot of money. I'm not saying that they won't have the value, but I certainly think that those would be more popular
that one's
arena.
taking time. I think that one's like all in 350, sometimes three. I mean, it's like taking time to simmer up, kind of like that Remnant Trooper, which is now starting to go up. It kind of dipped down.
Yeah, but it's only like because there's no discounting that Fett's popular and he will hold a value, but as Joao pointed out, that people overseas don't even know what the hell it is, so they would rather have a regular Fett versus something that they're not known for, right? So I think realistically, animated is going to be the king for a long time because it is the first appearance and Fett is popular, like she undoubtedly is. It's like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, these properties people collect that don't even collect 6-scale figures. They don't know what a hot toy is. They happen to see it because they are super fans of Back to the Future, of Ghostbusters, of Boba Fett, right? There's very esoteric groups that regardless of their collecting status, they're going to get it because it's that property no matter what. And Fett is one of those. I just feel like I think animated is going to always hold because of that first appearance, that factor.
So Bada says, so I could sell my Black Series Arena Fett? I say yes.
Yes, of course.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's kind of funny in there. And looking at some of these in here. Yeah, it's real interesting where this figure could go. I kind of feel like it's a lot of buzz right now, and I think that these shorter runs are going to have a scenario like we're having a fairly open conversation here between the six of us and with everybody in the chat, and going a little bit further with this kind of stuff now. What happens if this starts happening with non-exclusives? So if partly this is because, like Brother Cousins, you were saying, it's a strategy, so people would pre-order. And if partly what this is, which is what I've been talking a lot about, is from a production and ordering standpoint and staying in the black on a year and not going into the red with your books, not having so much inventory that you have to give it away. What's going to happen if this starts happening with some figures like, oh, yeah, that's going to be, because I'll be honest with you guys. We just thought this was going to be in stock because the armor was. So what happens if, and I'm not saying it is, this starts happening with a couple of regular figures that aren't exclusives? Will these shorter runs create some type of new FOMO? And I don't know who wants to go first with that, but go ahead and take it away, because I think it's something we're probably going to have to talk about if any of those scenarios are real.
Yeah, of course. I think it'll definitely create FOMO. That's the whole point, fear of missing out. If this run is shorter, you're going to miss out if you're not on top of it. So you're going to have FOMO. I mean, it is what it is. I think to me, it's just the obvious. Again, it goes back to supply and demand. The shorter the supply, the more the demand, the more the FOMO.
So, but then that kind of feeds. That's going to feed the secondary market, then, isn't it, guys? Absolutely. Because this is feeding the secondary market.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is the deposit? For example, if you want my pre-order from Sideshow, what's the deposit you need to pay? $20, $30? I don't know. For a regular figure,
it's a percentage of
10%.
the MSRP.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because that's also other problem. If people start to see that there are lower runs, everyone's going jump on pre-ordering, and then when the figure release, if people don't have the money to pay, it will create a huge stock, and then it's the same problem all over again. You understand? That's why, for example, you see here normally the deposits are 50%, because if you pay 50% deposit, you will pay the rest for sure. You will not lose 50% of what you pay. So that's why maybe they can start to do a higher deposit and not just 10% deposits. Maybe because it's a risky for Sideshow.
But that's what I was saying about it has to be a balance, because the trick is, okay, if they get more orders because of that, more pre-orders because of FOMO, great. That was probably what was happening in 2019 and in 2018 and in 2020. But Hot Toys needs to manage that and say we're only going to produce so many. So when the time comes, they have so many pre-orders at Sideshow, like you said, Joao, so many people cancel. That's okay, because all those cancellations go to the wait list because they have so many wait lists and so few supply.
Well, and
So
that's
it's just
true.
it's a balance.
Someone,
again.
yeah, and
Let's
someone
say-
told me today that this arena suit Boba Fett, like they sent me a message on the Facebook group saying, Aries, it's back in stock. And then they said, oh, wait a minute. That was just me getting a notification. That
A lot
my
of
wait
people
list
are
came
getting
through.
a lot of people are getting that notifications. Means that there were a lot of cancellations probably.
Well, this happens. You got to keep in mind, this is part of the problem. And I was talking about this Saturday night. You know, I know some of you that were there with me. That it is. There's a lot of blame to go around as to why we are where we are right now from everybody. Whether it's Hot Toys, whether it's Sideshow, whether it's actual consumers, whether it's content creators in the community. There's a little bit of everything to go around with this, and that's one of the problems right there. And I knew this was going to happen because we've been seeing this pattern. There's always a lot of cancellations. People buy into some hype, they get into their pre-order. When shit starts to hit the fan, they tap out. Not everybody, but there's a good portion of that happening every release. That's why we see them. That's why we see these. The next new figure is up for sale and BSTs are on eBay in like a week or two. You know, because some people didn't cancel, so they're like, well, I'll just ride it out. I don't want to for whatever reason. But they have their reservations, and then they get the figure. Maybe they need it. Maybe they're the type of person that needs to have it in their hand to really know if they like it. And then they're like, well, no, I'm out. Or as we've mentioned on the panel, some people buy it, have it, and they try to sell it to fund the next figure. Right. So that creates this problem, and those demographics are being observed by Sideshow and they're being observed by Hot Toys. So that's where they come in with this balance that you're talking about, Aries. You know, it's like if they do this, low number, well, people are already having these trends currently where they are canceling. So wait lists, as Desy mentioned, would convert because they are doing it like clockwork. But if they mix it up on us, it's going to absolutely create that FOMO again, because we all know that majority of people, and when I say majority, I mean, not 100%. Obviously, everybody does things their own way, but the majority are not pre-ordering. So how do they combat that? Well, if they give us more exclusives, if they give us lower runs, and we see that, then we'll then get new learned behaviors. Because right now, the way we're all trained is that shit just sits in stock.
Yep.
There's so much stuff they're producing.
So they're
way
untraining
too
us,
much.
is what you're saying. They're trying to untrain us.
That's my theory anyway. I think they're slowly trying to do that, because then if we start seeing all these low runs, what's that going to do to the consumers? What's going to do all? We're going to be like, well, shit, I don't want to miss that one. I just missed 9 of them. What's going on here? Why are they going so? I better get my pre-order in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good point. And welcome everybody in here. You're watching Monday Night Raw with the Dark Jedi and my good friends in here. Don't forget to smash that like button. I do appreciate it, and we all do appreciate it. While you're hitting that like button, I have the link to each and every one of these guys in here. Six Scale Mafia, great channel. Doc Smizzle, great channel. Big Breda, great channel. Same thing with Desy, Metamorphic Customs, Brother Cousins. Every one of these guys has the link. Make sure you guys subscribe. Hit the like button. But I stepped over somebody here. Go ahead and go with your point, whoever it was. Someone was going to say
Joao
something
was
about
saying
that.
something.
Go ahead, Joao.
It wasn't me. I talk a lot, but it wasn't me.
Well, listen, Joao. That you have to wonder. What was it? Is this you?
They call him the Wizard.
Oh man, it's not me. All my predictions are completely wrong.
Well, while you still have Arena Fed on the screen, a thought occurred to me while we were talking about it real quick. I'll just make it quick. Is that how we don't know, right? How we were saying earlier, how some figures are just, we don't even realize that it's may not even be a popular figure, and then all of a sudden it's like really expensive later on down the road, right?
Well, like the Mud Trooper, right? I don't think that was huge.
Right, because I feel that's more of like a chase, right? Because it's the only one current. I mean, we see him in the Andor stuff, so we're probably going to get a Mud Trooper of some, I think. But because a lot of people don't read the comics, right? That's why there's not this appeal. A perfect example is Spider-Man's, right? People will buy the the Tom Holland Spider-Man because they see him in the movies. People will buy the classic suit Spider-Man, even though it's a video game suit. It's the classic comic book suit, right? How many people were buying the anti-Ox suit, the 2099 suit, right? Like fans of that, but you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a difference between like these grails and then these chases. But with Fett, he's going to be back in Mando, and I'm just thinking it's probably never going to happen. But imagine if he wears this outfit in the show.
Oh my God!
But then you got the reissue.
Well, maybe you don't get the reissue though.
Maybe you
don't, right? So then now it's just like I was talking about with like Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's identifiable. Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. That's the mass of the collectors identify with those. So then when they see like Tamora Morrison wearing this in a Mando show or a Boba Fett season 2, then they no longer care about this comic that they've never heard of. They see this live action and then they want it, right? So that's the only way I can see this figure like surpassing animated. If something like that were to happen.
It's enough. I'm sold. I'm going to get one today.
I'm just saying, baby. But you don't. That's the thing. You don't know, and that could be something that could happen.
Absolutely, and that would feed the secondary market like greatly.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys this. I'll ask you, bro. I'll ask you, brother Cousins. So like, if this starts happening with some of these figures, and they're doing as you're saying here, hey, I think it's a strategy. It's also partly because hey, they don't want to also sit on money that they can't recoup back because it's sitting in there. How many figures are going to be like this that go in here and it's like, wow, okay, it's at $800. I mean, we can't forget that. I mean, we're showing it here. It's going for $600-700, but honestly, this is going for $800. I mean, I showed the data coming in at first. So, but you never really seen that before in Hot Toys with Star Wars anyway. Anything coming in like that. You know, we talked about the Mud Trooper, the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian, this one, that one. I mean, it took a long time for Obi-Wan, A New Hope, Jay, to get up to where he's at. It took a long time to get Director Krennic. I mean, you remember Director Krennic at Cal Dooku? It seemed like it was just yesterday. It was like $300, $310. Now it's in the low 400s, sometimes around 450. But now you're seeing this. So how do you think that plays out with some of these? Is it just exclusives? Is it just this one? Is there, how's that going to play out in your opinion?
Well, I think it really depends on the figure and the character itself. Mandalorian Huntress brought up a real good point about it being Fett. Like some people's love for Fett is ridiculous. Like my brother loves Fett. So that's like his guy, Fett and Vader. I think your Fetts, your Vaders, and maybe dare I say it, even though it's a lot of Lukes going around right now, Lukes will definitely command. These are characters that have a fandom outside of their own brand.
Well, especially what they did with bringing Luke back the way that they did. So he's like on fire right now.
Absolutely. So I think, and what this figure has going for it has going for it that it's the first time we've seen him in comic form. It's a Boba Fett. So I think those two things right there kind of like, and then it's also the allure of we knew the whole thing of us knowing that we saw what a Boba Fett exclusive do before. We saw what it did with the animated. So I think a lot of people also has that in the back of their mind too, like, oh, this may be kind of like the animated one, so let me go ahead and try to grab it. So this has a lot of things going on with it. So when we get this excitement, this hype from other figures, I don't think it really, like I said, it really depends on the character. I don't think it's going to be on every figure that comes out. But especially certain characters, yes.
Interesting. I was just going to say, we were thinking, do you guys remember last year, before the Book of Boba Fett aired, we were all excited and speculating, would we see, Cad Bane? And, sure as hell we did. And, Black or Santin, nobody, we didn't, but anyway, do you guys remember sometime, I would say over a year ago, there was a rumor floating around that we were going to see Fett wearing all black. You guys remember that? I'm sure we had talks about that.
Yes, absolutely.
So maybe that was, BS, but maybe not. Maybe that he will, you know, and I'm hearing that the reception overall of the Book of Boba Fett, they're trying to make him a little more awesome again. I don't know, but I remember that.
Yeah, no, I mean, wow. I mean, that would be a real interesting thing if that happens. So, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint the trajectory. It also makes you wonder, also, Anthony, though, what else they can do with these Boba Fetts, to be completely honest with you. Because you almost have to wonder. I'll kind of bring this up, and we'll go back. I got a little bit of a topic here. And Anthony, let's just stay with you since you brought it up, because you brought up the ruined black suit. Boba and Mando going into this now. Hot Toys is Star Wars new Iron Man, meaning Iron Man.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. I almost feel like stormtroopers for Star Wars are kind of like the Marvel Iron Man, because they could just keep putting out stormtroopers of each. But you have to wonder with Boba Fett and Mandalorian, they're seeing success. So
yeah, I mean, they're super popular, and that's, that kind of ties into what we were just saying, like with the black suit, right? Like, one thing that I noticed, I just thought about it when we were talking about that, Black Chrysanthemum Cunt came in, right? He was from the comics. I think that they mentioned Dr. Aphra. I thought they did. There was something somewhere. I don't remember. But the point is they're bleeding their comics and their new canon books into the shows.
Yes, they are.
That's another reason why I'm like, well, Arena Fett could, you know what I mean? It could be a live action thing down the road. They're canonizing. They're trying to do with Shadows of the Empire tried to do back in the day. You guys remember that? They tried to make this multimedia, platform across all different things to tie in together for this, and I think that's what they're doing now. But to answer your question about that, yeah, I mean, we know we're going to get another Mando. We saw that coming soon. Hot Toys, Mando and Grogu. We're like, well, what is that? Right?
From the Book of Boba Fett. And a lot, I was bringing that up, that it was possible that they could do it, but because of this scenario I'm bringing up here, because, I mean, it's kind of, I kind of feel like that they're probably going to do it.
They will. I don't know. Now, I won't necessarily say they'll be Iron Man levels, because there's like over 150.
Yeah, you got all the marks. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
But yes, like within the relative sense, yes.
Yes.
Right. We're gonna see another. We're gonna see another Boba Fett. We're gonna see that. We are gonna see another heavy infantry Mando. Right. Paz Vizsla. We're gonna see probably another Bo-Katan.
I can't believe we're getting another heavy infantry Mandalorian already. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, Hot Toys knows, because I know people complained, right? Like, oh my God, they're reissuing this already. The one time we got something that kind of held some value is being reissued. But Hot Toys does recognize that you have to have that healthy secondary market. Otherwise, you don't have a consumer base. So they only reissue or 2.0 stuff like sparingly, right? 5, 6, 7% of all figures. It's not, now I don't know why they decided to do it then. Probably because it just fit, right? They're like, oh, well, he's around in Book of Boba Fett. He could be one of the figures for that percentage that we reissue or something like that.
Yeah, interesting. And Doc, let's go to you on this. Everything that we've been talking about, and then also Boba Fett, Mandalorian, just for the general sense. Is it the Hot Toys' Star Wars of Iron Man? Is it their new Iron Men, if you will? And Dorikas puts up also on here, I bet that Heavy Mando 2.0 never makes it to pre-order. That's also a pretty good point. But Doc, they're having some success with the Arena Suit Boba Fett, so they could come out with the white prototype.
I hope so.
I mean, right? I know you'd like that one. I know a lot of people would like that. I heard the Sideshow one is really, really good, and it looks good. Not the articulation I heard of Hot Toys, but I mean, I almost think that it's almost I want to say a guarantee they're going to put out that white prototype Boba Fett someday.
Yeah, you got to have salt and pepper. So you got to pass the salt with the pepper. So we got pepper now. So all we need now is the white prototype. But no, I mean, I joked last year that I wouldn't be surprised if we would start seeing like a gold chrome Mandalorian figure at some point as a Toy Fair exclusive. And
Wow, a gold
I
chrome
think the
one.
possibility is even more wide open than ever. I think they've seen a lot of success with their chrome clones. I don't know so much what's going on with the specialty troopers. What are they call? I can't remember their names. The dark troopers. Death Troopers, the Death Troopers.
The Death Troopers.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because those are still available for pre-order. I kind of figured those would have sold out by now with the clone chromes.
It's interesting to me. It isn't, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely some options available. The Mandalorian armor just kind of like it yields itself to being printed up in different variations. Like I mean, when they introduced Sabine Wren and Rebels and everything, and how she painted her armor and the different culture behind all that, like, I mean, there's a whole world of Mandalorian armor that we've yet to see. So I think Beskar armor is essentially just a blank canvas waiting to be painted. So I think they've improved on their chrome applications. I'm really excited to get the chrome clone in hand to just kind of like look at that and compare it against Captain Phasma, and just, you know, see the differences in the paint material and application on that, because I think the two will look really good side by side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Desy, Christian Detour Collection says Black Chrome Mando is waiting, and I also think that the white prototype Boba Fett that Sideshow already has out is also looming as well, my friend.
I sure hope so. I'm one of the people that really wants the white Boba Fett from Hot Toys specifically.
Now, do you have the Sideshow one, or have you? That one looks good to me, but then again, I don't have it in hand.
No, it looks great. Like I don't have it. I know it looks great. I know I've also heard the traditional joint problem. It's very loose.
It's also like $500-$600 or something like that as well.
Yeah, that's why I kind of just I want a Hot Toys quality version of that one if they ever release it. If not, then I'm good without it. But that'd be nice to have the white one plus the black one, to, again, I've said it before, to have that every variation of Boba Fett armor as a display. I think that would make a great museum display almost. But I hope so. And I think they will continue to make chrome variations for exclusives. It's easy. They've got the tools already. If they keep the batches low, clearly they sell. I don't know about that a Death Trooper, right? That I don't know why. Maybe they made more because they said, okay, this character has been in Mandalorian a lot more, and we know that's popular in China, so let's make a lot more of that one versus the clone. Maybe, I have no idea. Who knows? But Chrome Clone Trooper, that sold out pretty quick, and now we have this all black Fett. Yeah, you'll get a Chrome or an all blacked out like Mando. It's gonna keep happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure you guys hit the like button in here. Make sure you subscribe to the panel as well. It's good to have everybody in here for sure here on Monday Night Raw. We're having a lot of fun talking about Hot Toys and a lot of these topics coming up over here. And it looks like that I have to go ahead and fill up table 3, because you got 808 Michigan Jedi talking about Grievous and a couple of others. So here you go.
Kenobi. You are a bold one.
Dorikas talking about a chrome Vader, and then someone's talking about a chrome Modus, a chrome Grievous. I think we're going to get that Grievous with the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. We'll have to see. We'll have to see for sure. But yeah, Brother Cousins, let's go to you on Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. Someone was bringing up on there, just like I said, like Doc Smizzle was saying, a gold chrome Mandalorian, a regular chrome Mandalorian. Gosh, they could do like the Black Series, or they could do it ending credits. That figure looks sick from the Black Series, the 6-inch one that comes also in vintage style packaging. The ending credit scene, where they go ahead and they paint all the pictures and they play the song at the end of the Mandalorian and these shows and stuff like that. Possibilities are endless, but they could keep just reusing these molds and have these low runs, and probably people would buy it. And here's the thing. I got to ask you guys this, and Brother Cuz will go with you. Not everybody's going to buy these. You're seeing it in the chat, but some are. But you probably still sell out of them if it's only like 3,000 of them, or 1,500 or 4,000 or something like that.
It's good money. Yeah. I mean, if there's a market for it, yeah, sure. They'll produce it and people will buy them. And they'll do lower batches and people will get them. And then people would have collections and be like, hey, I have all the exclusive Boba Fett's. So yeah, there's definitely a market for it. It can do it. Me personally, the type of collector I am, I'm not going to buy into that. I like special moments. I mean, I look at a lot of times, I always talk about the similarities between sneaker collecting and toy and action figure collecting. Like, I don't need every pair of Jordans and all the different colors and colorway. I want the ones that he wore on the court. And it's the same type of way with these figures and these characters. I want a character at a key moment. Like even with this arena suit, when I found out it was a key moment in the comic books and going back into reading that, then it became an emotional thing for me. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Gotta get it. And I think that's what it comes down to. But if we're just, going to the printing presses and just coming up with here's a candy flavored Mandalorian or whatever. I don't need.
Like I say again,
here's the non-later version Mandalorian. I don't need it.
Here's the porcelain. Like they had that porcelain look like my great grandmother's Corningware.
That's what makes it cool, though.
Yes,
there's something about that porcelain. I
love it.
Yep.
And I know what Jay's saying there, right?
Yep.
Arena Fett's in the comic. Makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
But remember, guys, I mean, we've got the chocolate chromed stormtrooper, the gold stormtrooper, and usually they're for events though, right? So now we got the chrome stormtrooper, which I still don't know if we're gonna get, but that was in celebration of the Shanghai store.
Right.
So, and again, as we talked about earlier, like toy collecting has always had exclusives, right? They're not for everybody. So I don't feel like they're bad. Because I see people complain, oh, why did they do that when we didn't get Padme yet or so? It's like, well, listen, they've got molds. These are events. They're special releases. I could see it happening, as people said. I mean, we'll probably get a black chrome Vader. They'll do stuff like that. It's just, one, it's good for them because they make money. And two, they make something that's kind of interesting and unique that, somebody will always buy stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's always a market.
Yeah. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it as long as they make it special, make it limited.
Yeah, don't
they
do
gotta
once a
make
month.
it limited. They gotta make it limited.
Yeah, make it limited. That's what makes it cool. The exclusivity makes it cool. Let's be honest. Everybody wants something that they can't have. It's that simple.
Well, and I think that Christian Detour Collections brings up a good point. Speaking of Vader, I'd love an all-white Vader from the comic. Well, they can probably do that. 808 Michigan Jedi, and he has mentioned this before. He said, I've already mentioned it. Everyone needs to be on alert for a chrome version of Vader. Desy, they could do that. I mean, not everybody would buy it because some people are like, hey, I don't need the deluxe of the Vader, that awesome DX28 Vader that's out right now. I'll just go ahead and get the regular one because I already have the Rogue One Vader or that. But there are some Vader. We're even talking about Boba Fett aficionados, but there are some Darth Vader aficionados must have all Vaders. I mean, he is arguably one of the most iconic villains, any IP, all time, period. So I can see them doing it. They make 3,000 chrome Vaders is gone, Desy. That's gone quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, what's cool about the chrome variations and the repaints that have nothing to do with a comic or movie or TV appearance. What's cool about them, and I think Anthony, you said this, is that it's limited. Like that's what's cool about it. Yes, it has to actually look cool, aesthetically pleasing. It can't look like absolute crap. But what's really going to make people want that is that it's exclusive and it's limited. It's like, hey, did you get the Chrome Vader? No, man, it's sold out like in a week or 2 days. That's what's going to be cool about that. Like, there's no Chrome Vader on the TV or in the movie or. Like, it's just that it's limited. So, yeah, if they keep the numbers limited, a Chrome Vader, a Gold Vader, I don't know, Black Chrome Vader, like any of those, would
Platinum
great.
all blinged out.
Diamonds,
Still sell,
porcelain, you know,
Yeah.
camo, whatever.
Oh
yeah.
man. Well, listen, El Profesoro Mario would buy them all because he just said must have
Yeah.
all the Vaders. There's going to be a lot who feel that way as well. This is interesting when we're talking about FOMO because I'm going to put it up and I want to talk about it a little bit. Hunter says, are we going to discuss the low stock Peacemaker figure? Is this a false alarm or a limited figure? It's really a good question, Joao, because it's happened before where something would go on waitlist and then we're like, oh yeah, but it's going to go back on. Like you saw that with the freaking with that IG-11. It was going on, it was going to go on waitlist and then it's been in stock ever since, which is weird. But then you've also seen it where, okay, it's come on and then in a couple of days it's on, it's back on, but then it's off and it's off for good. And then sometimes it's just off, like with the Ray and Dio, and it's like, okay, it's going in, and then it never comes back. So you have to wonder what's going on with this Peacemaker. But I don't think it's necessarily, Joao, unless it is over there by you, a giant popular piece that everyone's going to buy.
Here, no, by any means. Peacemaker, it's on Peacemaker is where HBO is where the show HBO, right? It doesn't even screens here. It doesn't even screens here, and it's not a very popular figure. But I'm not seeing that. At least here, I think it will be available in stock once it releases. I'm not seeing be a very limited release, but talking about more not recent ones, but for example, you mentioned the IG-11. The IG-11 here is not available anymore, and the prices go up. Same happened with the Remnant Trooper here too, and with Commander, which one? The Stormtrooper Commander, also from Mandalorian, with the red pauldron. Those three from Mandalorian line, they went up in price here a lot.
Well, you were one of the ones that were telling me that Grogu specifically is getting more and more popular in Asia. So then, and I've heard that from many people, which is actually, guys, probably good for, not probably, but good for Star Wars in general. If they can get that interest, it'll probably result maybe in some of the fans wanting to explore the OT a little bit or some of the old stuff, but a lot of times that happens. But that's actually good news for Disney that that's happening. But probably why you're saying, Joao, that some of the figures you're mentioning are in more demand there in China.
Exactly, some figures are definitely in more demand. Peacemaker is, I'm sure, is not the one with a high demand. But I don't know if he's Sideshow playing their tricks. Maybe they don't have enough pre-orders and they want people to pre-order. I really can't say.
Doc, what do you think about Peacemaker here? It's an interesting dilemma.
Yeah. So this really throws a wrench in all of my plans to wait for things to be in stock or wait for them to release to pre-order. I'm gonna be watching closely because I want to see if there's a pattern that develops. So I'm not gonna FOMO into this tonight, but if it does go to waitlist, I'll join the waitlist very early on. So if it does convert, I'll just jump on it because I do want to get this Peacemaker figure. But there's just so much that comes out in the time frame that it's releasing where it's probably not responsible to go ahead and push that in there. But if we're going to start seeing things selling out in the pre-order phase again, before these things release, I mean, that could encourage, people to pre-order again, as well as limiting the amount of stock that ends up just sitting there for years and years, which is a good thing. It increases demand for hot toys again. It takes away that notion that these figures will end up in the bargain bin. But I still have a lot of questions about this Peacemaker figure. Are we going to get a little bit of an update on Eagle-E? Because Eagle-E deserves an update. I know we got a lot of improvements that were shown at San Diego Comic-Con, and that right there was reason alone to push it up into wanting to get it, because I had no intention to pick this up the way that it currently is in this prototype.
Mhm.
But the updates that they showed, like, I really think pushed it over the edge where it's going to look like a really cool piece to have in the collection. But this is something worth watching because the bat signal went on waitlist, and who knows, maybe Sideshow's like, let's go ahead and kill these pre-order options now because NART has entered the game with their version. Maybe they, but
Well, you know what's interesting though, guys? I mean, because this, I know the blue screen, but a lot of they're actually saying low stock remaining. Is that the truth? Because I think that's, at least in my view, I don't normally see that. Maybe I'm just seeing it now.
well, yeah, you can only pre-order 2 right now if you were to try and pre-order them. Normally, you would be able to
But that's
pre-order
a
6.
but that's a bold statement saying low stock remaining. So I mean, is it true or is it not true? I guess is the question, because that's the statement that they're making, right?
Right. And so that's why I think it's worth watching over the next couple of days to see what happens, and then just to see if a pattern starts to develop, because this happened with the bat signal just a couple of days ago. And now this is happening with the Peacemaker a few days later. So there could be a trend that is being developed that's worth paying attention to.
So is the bat signal still on low stock remaining too? Is it still
No, it's
saying
on
that?
waitlist. Yeah,
It's on
it's on
waitlist.
waitlist. Yeah.
So
And
Anthony,
that's a
let me
pre-order that doesn't come out until probably October of next year.
so let me keep going this way on the panel. So Anthony, what do you think about this? Because is this a pattern? Because we're talking about it with Star Wars, we're talking about the arena suit Boba Fett, we're talking about a couple of the exclusives there. Now you're seeing it with this. I mean, again, you could take history like the IG-11, and this happened, but now it's been in stock. But I think the whole theme of this show, are patterns starting to change? Are things starting to become a little bit different? Is this part of the strategy on having these lower runs? Because people are going to be like, if this actually happens, people may be like crapping in their pants a little bit, like, oh wow, I better decide now if I want this figure or I'm screwed.
Well, I agree with Doc. This is something that you definitely need to keep an eye on. If this figure is something you're interested in, it's worth, even if you're not interested in Peacemaker, it's still worth investigating, right? Keeping an eye on it, because this could be, right? This could be a prelude to what's to come, right? As Doc mentioned, the bat signal's waitlisted. Now, Peacemaker's got a little bit of controversy here, though. So, meaning they announced him, everybody crapped all over and laughed at it, right? That was the general response. Now, when I always say that as a majority, not 100% of everybody, but the general response was not very well received. Then, okay, well, pre-orders are nothing, right? Let's just assume that pre-orders on this particular figure were very low in the beginning. So that gets reported back, and they're like, well, there's not a lot of interest here. And then with what Joao saying that, HPL's not over in China, so that whole market's just negated. We're if we have any overhead, it's not going to really go overseas in that respect. So they factor all these things in. This is just my theory. All that factored in together, they're like, well, maybe we're not going to make a lot of it. But we still heard the response of everybody. So guess what? We improved it. We gave you some swap out seamed arms. We give you a different sculpt. We're going to update it a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, the interest has peaked, right? Oh, you fixed what we were all laughing at, right? Now he may be more compelling. So now people are ordering it, and because of the aforementioned, details, he is now low stock. So that very well could be this. Or it could just be BS, right? We've seen it happen before, and then it's fine. But that's why I'm saying, regardless of whether or not you want the figure, it's definitely worth watching to see what happens. Because this could be what we're saying. Like, the learned behaviors are changing it up on us. We don't know. Yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting. If you want the figure and you have, the 10% to put down, I don't think it would hurt to drop it, personally, if you really want this figure.
Yeah, no, and brother cousins Jay, we've been talking about for months. Hey, you don't got to worry about waitlist anymore. You don't got to worry about pre-ordering these figures. And I mean, they probably maybe have been listening to it and stuff like that. I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on it to actually see if this is a joke, or if it's just just playing games, or if it's like what Mafia was just saying over here. Is it something to do with, with the, okay, they went ahead and they changed, Peacemaker, they made it better, so they're dealing with that. But it's like what you were saying before, man. If they wanted to bring you back, if they wanted to bring the community back, if they wanted the community to shatter their coffee cups, like, oh man, I better go ahead and do this quick, I would think this is the way to do it.
They've done this before. This is a scare tactic. This is to get everybody to pre-order. That's what it is. They can say it's a computer glitch, whatever. It's not that many computer glitches in the world. It's this is a tactic to get everybody back on board to pre-order, to see exactly how many of these things they need to order. Because that show was amazing. That show premiered the same time I believe Book of Boba Fett did, and I mean, I think this was the show that most people, I think it was almost, I wouldn't say unanimous, but a lot of people enjoyed this show. A lot of people enjoyed it, and we don't get that many DC figures. We really don't. But I think with the popularity of the character, and also let's not forget something, the popularity of John Cena. This man was wrestling for 15, 20 years, 20 years. So he has a big popularity. He's a very big popular figure all over the world. So, and alluded to back with Anthony was saying, when they changed that sculpt, the power of them changing that sculpt and making it look like a John Cena also did help it. So it could be.
It helped it a lot. It looked great. I mean, it looked fantastic what they did.
Absolutely. But I'm tending to lean more towards that. This is Sideshow trying to really test the waters and really want to see exactly how many pre-orders they can get and how popular this guy is. So they create this, hate saying it, this fake outrage.
but is it worth the hype though? Or is it worth? What I meant to say is it worth the risk? Because I kind of agree with Jay. Like I was saying, it could be everything I said, or it could just be what they're doing, right? Because they've done this before. But now, as you stated, it is John Cena. We don't get a lot of DC. People criticized it, not because of the show, because the show was very well received, as mentioned, right? So now that he's fixed, and it's from a show that was very, very good, and it is John Cena, right? This now all of a sudden becomes, I don't want to say the perfect piece, but it checks all the boxes, right? Great show, great figure now. You know what I mean? Great representation, John Cena, whatever. Not many DC. You see what I'm saying? It checks it all. It checks all. This is one of those figures that I believe now is going to be like, oh shit, like this is a good figure now.
Yeah, and its Sideshow's going to be like, you can't see this, pre-order now. Anyway, I have to do that.
But what if it's possible? Maybe because the pre-orders were so low initially, they just put in their purchase order at the time, and then what if over the next few business days they're like, okay, let's put in another purchase order and get some more. So this very likely could stay within pre-order.
Could they?
I have a feeling maybe they just have like certain allotments they got to fill up, and then now that they see interest being built back up, maybe they'll have another purchase order.
Yeah. So you're thinking that you guys thinking they could do that? They could put in another PO.
Yeah.
And actually, can they add to the run or add to the batch or just make another run? Is what you're thinking?
I think that's. I think we've seen that happen. We've already seen that happen, right? Like, because things will dip, and that's why I said it's kind of wonky.
I think there was a comment in here.
Yeah, Penny
was
brought it up.
And it's covering everybody up over here. But yeah, Cody sold out during the pre-order window, then was put back up for a PO, and there was clearly a second run of the figures that was opened up within a couple days. So yeah, good point.
Yeah, they've done it before, again, like that. So it's we see, and this is why I joke about it, and how Jay was saying like computer glitch. Yeah, I don't necessarily buy that, but what I feel like in this day and age, how do they goof up? Well, maybe they don't goof up, and maybe that's what it is. They said, hey, you know what? We ordered 3,000 units of Peacemaker. Okay, well, in our database, it's ticking down. It's just a data. It's just like an SQL. It's just a database thing, right? So now it's like, hey, low stock check. It shows up. Then they order a new one because they don't know. They don't know what the next purchase order is going to be, if there's going to be one at all, right? But there's still more than enough time
And
to
you'd
get
have
another purchase order.
and you'd have to wonder what their MOQ would be, meaning their minimum order quantity then for and maybe it's small because we're seeing some of these small runs, but that would be interesting to find out as well. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't necessarily think it's a system glitch. I think it may be an operational glitch. Kind of, Anthony, what you were just saying, right? Where you've got this pre-programmed in your database and your system, once the orders get close to what their maximum MOQ is right now, what their order quantities, the website updates to this. And no one's really taking a look because they're all busy. Everybody's at Sideshows doing different things. And finally somebody sees
it's
it
all automated. You know?
Yeah, a week from now, and they're like, okay, low stock. All right, well, we're in time. We can just up our order with Hot Toys, and then this database updates based on that new order, and then it goes back to regular pre-order, not low stock. Like, that's what I see happening.
Yeah.
Like, so who knows what'll happen here.
No, and Joao, real quickly here. I mean, this is, and it also could be, single songwriter said, could be that Sideshow didn't order many because not everyone has HBO. I think that's what you were saying, and some collectors never heard of the show.
I can only speak for the market here, and that's definitely what happened here. We don't have HBO. Not many people know is familiar with Peacemaker from the TV show. They are familiar, for example, from the Suicide Squad, the movie. So that's why I can see some collectors that like the Suicide Squad getting this figure, not from the show because it didn't screen here. But yeah, I mean, this is it's not a figure that I can see many people along the line saying, "Oh, I miss out that figure. I want it so much." This is a bit of a niche of a figure. It's not for everyone. But I kind of believe on this low stock. Maybe there is not a big quantity being pre-ordered for this, and the allotment for Sideshow maybe not as big as I would say a normal Marvel release or something like that, because this is DC, and DC doesn't get too much love from Hot Toys. If you consider well, this Peacemaker will not have a lot of companion pieces with him. Is not, you can pose him with pieces from Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad you have few pieces from Hot Toys too. So they get what Suicide Squad got the shark, right? The power pose. That's all there is, nothing more.
Well, I mean, they could use like the other Harley Quinn or something.
Yeah, exactly. You can use the Birds of Prey Harley Quinns, or you can use the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and then the third party ones, right? They've got like a couple of them, right?
What's the name? The Polka Dot. Eh? What's the name?
Polka Dot.
Yeah, I think
Polka Dot.
Yeah, that one, exactly. And then the alien mask.
The Blood Sport 2, Blood Sport.
Yeah. That I thought Hot Toys would jump all over.
Yeah. And Harley Quinn seems NITE is going to do a Harley Quinn. We don't know if it's from Suicide Squad or from where. So
hopefully it's the 2016 Suicide Squad. That's the only one that counts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real interesting here with this. I think we do have to keep an eye on it, and so many comments in what we're talking about here, panel. Penny Swin says, if it hasn't been produced yet, there is nothing to stop Hot Toys from just ticking another order of 3K to Sideshow, especially if there is demand for that, for sure. Going to a couple of these other comments that are in here. 808 Michigan Jedi says, Anthony, that figure lost hype after a month or so after its release. Now Sideshow is pulling collectors' legs on low stock. I mean, I guess that is possible, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it now checks all. See, I'm trying to have some clairvoyance, if you will, right? Look into the future, because now this figure now checks all the right boxes. DC doesn't get a lot of love. Okay, it's a successful television, so it's John Cena. It's been updated to where now, when I look at it, I see absolutely nothing wrong with this figure. This is a great figure now for a lot of people. That's not for everybody, but you can't look at it and be like, it doesn't really look good anymore, right? It looks great. It checks all the boxes. So I'm trying to think of like 3 years from now, 4 years from now, this might be one of those Yondus, or something, it really could. So, and it's not to buy into a hype. Don't get it if you don't want it, but if you're into it and you have the opportunity, you want to build like a Suicide Squad style, display. This now checks everything. It's we don't get that too often, we really don't.
No, and Brother Cousins, going to you. Bob Darcy puts in here, Dark Jedi Master Ares. There are so many of them. What are we to do?
There are too many of them. What are we going to do?
It just kind of walks right into it, right? But yeah, I think when we're talking about this, and there are too many of them, but now we're looking at, hey, we're all basically saying here into the chat, we're going to keep an eye on this. Some people putting in the popcorn little emojis in there as well. This is going to be interesting, tonight, tomorrow, over the next week, so on and so forth. But it does kind of expand this question here from Bob a little bit. There are a lot of them to navigate. And if they're going to go this way with it, maybe not a whole lot of time to decide. So I think you're going to have to plan out your collection if it goes this way at all. Like we're talking about here, towards like, hey, I want this, I don't want this, and maybe put some bucks off on the side for exclusives that you don't know about.
Yeah, that would be a good strategy. I mean, you can't have it all, right? You can't. And I mean, what it really comes down to is weaning it down to what you really want. As I said, I think I said this on Anthony's show Saturday, looking at the direction of your collection. And I think that's a big thing. Really looking at where your collection is going, where you're headed, trying to, get the pieces that mean the most to you. With that being said, there are always anomalies, always. So like you said, having a little bit of cash laying around for those anomalies, those things that you weren't expecting to get, but you may see like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like a Peacemaker, you get a Peacemaker could be somebody's entry to DC. Like, oh my God, this thing is amazing. Let me get, or entries to a one-off shelf.
Well, and this will make you think now, right, Jay? I mean, like, because you're like, oh, Peacemaker, I don't know if I want it. But maybe if this like goes on waitlist and they're doing, like you mentioned earlier in the show, they're part of their strategy. Now, when you get an off character like this, you're going to have to maybe decide quicker. Okay, do I want it or I don't want it? Because it may go out quick, like you're seeing here, which is what they want you to maybe start thinking. But I think that you can't get hyped up about it. You got to just know in your heart what you want and then go for it. And then what you don't want, say, okay, I could care less.
Well, see, the thing is, even doing that, it's good. Once again, it's good. It's a little bit of, it's all this is based off business and psychology. This is why they have people to go to school for this stuff. And, smarter people than I that go and, plan all this stuff out to get people to separate people from their money. It makes perfect sense because, I mean, I think everybody on this panel at some point ran out, paid an NRD for something, and then saw the item come out and was like, kind of don't want it. I guess I'll just eat this NRD, whatever. I don't want to pay for it. But they already separated you from your $25 or $35. So once again, strategy to separate us from our money. You have to just be very careful on what you're doing. And like I said, if it's something that you're really interested in, get it. If you think Peacemaker, if you like that show and you really like John Cena, and like Mafia was saying, it ticks all the boxes. Great show. World loved guy, and everybody likes John Cena, and cool character, fun character. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? Now, when it comes out 2.5 years from ago, and who knows, maybe it will be another situation where it's delayed so much where it will give you another shot at thinking about it, like, I'm just not interested in it. That happened with cable. It happened with a lot of figures. A lot of people just, the interest just wasn't there anymore. It was 3 years, that time and gone and went, and and that's just what it is. I think now, but I think also Sideshow, these companies are going to get smart on it. Like, hey, are you still interested in it? Let us know now. If not, we're going to pull you off the list. So you just have to be like, once again, look at the direction of your collection. If it fits, go for it. If you're a fan of John Cena, go for it. If you're a fan of the show, go for it. If not, take that risk. I mean, me personally, I think it's going to be there. I think anything you want, as long as you have money, it's going to be there. People want to sell you, and I mean, some of these figures are still, even some of these like this, they're going to go bargain bin. And I think what Doc was bringing up is a good point as well. I think, they may have ran out of their allotment this time around. It's all automated. It's all a numbers system. So they'll get, by the time it release, because they want stuff to be, here it is. They want stuff to be in their store as well. So not everything is going to sell out. It's not. Certain figures are, but not everything is going to sell out. And if it does sell out, it may be a chance where they bring it back in. This happened with Hellboy. I've seen this happen with Hellboy. This happened with Pennywise when everybody went crazy for Pennywise back when he released. And then they just magically, here's some more stock. And now now what is he doing? He's sitting. Same with the Armorer, sitting. So it'll be around.
And it makes it, I think it makes it even harder, Desy, because it's going to kind of segue into something else that goes with this, because, you're talking about possibly, hey, they're changing direction over here because they don't want to lose money, or they don't want to give away free shipping. They don't want to be holding on the stock for a year or 2 years. They're, doing that. Also, it's a strategy to get people to pre-order again. But when you're talking about getting to pre-order, some people are complaining about, waiting, how long that they're waiting to actually get some releases. I want to get into this with this panel and here's one of the topics I want to generally talk about. Sideshow has this new 6 month ETA that I'm noticing on some of these releases that they're putting out. So, and a lot of times you could, hey, if something was delayed, you could go and you could cancel your pre-order, and they give you your money back. For what I was experiencing, Desy, you could go ahead and they're like, oh yes, because we said it was coming out there. Now, all of a sudden, if you see what a lot of these releases, they put it out, oh yeah, it's going to come out October 2023 to March 2024. I mean, in my opinion, Desy, they might as well just say it's going to come out in October 2023 or October 2024. It's almost the same thing. It's very ambiguous. Why do you think that they're doing that? And is it a little bit frustrating to try and plan for it, especially if you're just pre-ordering it, not to put down payments, but you're pre-ordering it just to get it and wait for it?
Yeah, and I think it's the obvious reason, right? The whole, what was it, the FTC rules, where they had to send out notifications to everyone to confirm their orders, because if not, they'll get auto-canceled, because FTC is forcing Sideshow to cancel orders that are late, right? But now if you expand that ETA, then somehow it's okay, because you are, from the beginning you said, hey, it's not shipping within 3 months, it's shipping within 6 months. So you don't have to cancel orders. So that's one big reason. But let's be reasonable too, right? It's Hot Toys has been catching up somewhat on their pre-order backlog, right?
They have been.
Yeah. So what's the issue now? Well, shipping is still not great. There's still a bit of a shipping crisis going on. And look at what happened with the Chrome Trooper recently, where people got notifications that it was shipping, and it was weeks before it actually shipped. And then the excuse was, well, it's stuck in the port. If that's to be believed, and I believe them, clearly there's still an issue with shipping. So it's only reasonable, and it's unfair to Sideshow too to have these short windows where, with the shipping crisis the way it is right now, it's like they have to give themselves a bigger time frame, because they don't know what's going to happen, right? There's no way that they can fix that unless they start air freighting everything, and even then, it's hard.
Well, and look at the timing here, and you got it right here. Like, I'm pulling this up, and I think we're all seeing this lately. It's like, wow, October 2023, March 2024. So this is just one example. This is for the Mark 7 diorama that just came out several days ago. So, and they're doing this a lot, Desy.
Yep. It's going to continue to happen. This is one move that they pulled that it's like, man, it sucks, but I completely understand. Right? Like they lost a lot of money from people tapping out, and then more people even tapped out, not because they had to tap out, they lost entrance, but because the shipping was so late because what's been going on the last couple of years, and they went overseas. So this way, they not only had to face people tapping out, but they had to face cancellations that they had to cancel. Sideshow had to cancel. They want to get rid of one of the two.
They've got like 39, and I'll pull it up at sixscalecantina.com. But Anthony, I want to get your thoughts on this. They got like 39 Marvel figures that are going to come out for next year, and not even including quarter a scale for 2023. It's an astronomical amount. But when do we get to the point where they're like, hey, I mean, I don't think I'm too far off, and maybe where they could say October 2023 to October 2024 for instance, because they're already doing a 6-month interval. What are your thoughts on this from your perspective?
I think the 6-month window is interesting, right? This actually started maybe 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah,
something
around
right?
that. Yep.
And at first I thought it was like for that figure. I don't remember what it was, but you know what I mean? The first figure I saw, I was like, well, maybe it's just this figure. But now it is now set in it's the new standard. It's the new standard. So I think maybe they're doing this because it's preventing or deterring people from canceling pre-orders. That's my guess. Right? Because now they put you in this 6-month window, so you have no idea when it's going to drop. And that could be a factor, or even the fact that, like you mentioned, there's many on pre-order. So for them to kind of widen that window allows them to work a little bit better, right? Because they have so many orders coming in. And because a lot of people, this is what's going on, right? If it would be a 3-month window, and then people, for whatever reason, will start to complain. Oh, where's my figure? It's August. It was supposed to come out in June. Where is it? And then they cancel, and they cancel because some people, we're all different styles of collecting, but there are some people that may have bought it, and now that they're like, well, it's delayed. It gives them time. In any business, you never want to give your customer a reason to have doubt in your product. Period. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like anything. If like a television show starts at a certain time, and for some weird reason it's not on, people leave. Right? They're like, well, it's not here. So I feel like that's the same thing with the figures when they had that 3-month window. And let's face it, they can't fulfill that. Yeah. There's too many orders. There's too much backlog. So then a lot of people would just use that as a reason to tap out, essentially, right? Well, it's not here. Might as well just cancel it now. Screw it. Change my mind. So making that 6-month window gives people that, oh, okay, well, it's been a couple months. We still got another 4 for the projected release. So I'm hanging in there, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And actually, guys, when I go here, and I'm going to go to sixscalecantina.com, because at the very bottom under the biggest mover section, and everyone who's watching, if you don't have sixscalecantina.com bookmarked, you just may want to consider doing so. It has all the latest information on the channel. As I scroll up to show you, there is the banner for today. You see Hot Toys Monday Night Raw here with the Dark Jedi and these fine gentlemen as well. Obviously, all your secondary market news. We've got a kind of neat little thing. It's Star Wars versus Marvel. It's not really versus Marvel, but it's a comparison versus it in the Hot Toys world here. But you could see like right here, it's, you got 18 pre-orders. This is just 6 scale for Star Wars in 2023. And it's actually 39. I got to update that number for Marvel in 2023. And then they did catch up. And I don't know who mentioned that. Was that you, Brother Cousins, or was it you, Desy, who say that they were catching up, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember these numbers back here. It was like 28 or whatever it was. Now it's down to 13. Marvel was astronomical, now down to 50. But they got like a ton, packed in here to the third quarter, which is just about over. So I think like what Anthony's saying, what you're saying here, Anthony, is that they have to go ahead and change that timing to, that 6-month window. I mean, because right here, it's just, and I'm sure that so many of these are just going to get pushed out. They have to.
Well, I mean, even now, look at it. I mean, we've gotten Bo-Katan delayed. We got Batman and Robin delayed. I know there's more that got delayed, so it's just. But you guys get the point. And these are current, expected releases. Like, we're all fans of certain properties, right? So no doubt, one can be like, well, I don't care. I'm not getting Batman and Robin. Well, there are people like myself who are. So we're like, hey, where's our figure? There are people who may not like Bo-Katan, but then fans of Bo-Katan are like, yo, where's my figure?
Well,
so after a while, someone will tap. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, and maybe I hope I have it updated right, because it could have been something I missed, but they have like just for Marvel here in the third quarter, Iron Man holographic, Scarlet Witch, WandaVision, Miles 2020 suit, Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Iron Man Mark V, War Machine, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 60s appearance, Black Widow, Snowsuit, Cable, so I got to update that. They came out to that, so you got 14. Tony Stark Mech Tech, Division, and Tony Stark Suit Up, and they just came out with Cable. So, I mean, that's a lot, dude.
Well, even look at Cable. Cable is, I mean, shit, you want to talk about a delay? Cable. So,
what was that put out, like 5 years ago? 6 years?
Yeah, a while, right? It was like 2019, I think, is when it went up.
2020.
Was it 2020 or early 2020?
Yeah,
or
it was
I mean,
the summer showcase of 2020.
Okay, so still a long time. So you really need you need to figure out, just based off that demographic right there, how many people from Sideshow, so how many Sideshow accounts canceled their Cable. And I suspect quite a bit, and not because the figure.
Yeah, that's a good
the figure
point.
just came out. We finally saw it, regardless of what you think about how the final product looks. Up to that point, how many people canceled over those 2 years because they were just so sick of waiting? Maybe they've lost interest in the property, whatever. That's the point, right? So they have to do these 6 months windows. I see people in chat. Yeah, they're getting tired of waiting. They can't. Exactly. They canceled because it's just like, dude, is this thing ever going to come out?
Yeah, like Dorica said here, I canceled my Cable, got tired of waiting.
Yeah.
Cable was 761 days from announcement to release.
Wow.
Damn.
Woo. Could have been strategy.
And the Loki Endgame is now at 802 days.
Jesus.
We're closing on
and
Hulkbuster.
think of those cancellations.
Wait, which one's 802 days?
Loki.
Yeah,
Endgame.
Loki Endgame.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Gamora and Hulkbuster were like 980 days, like something like that. I think Gamora was like the longest
really
wait
long
between
time.
announcement. Yeah.
So if you look at Derek's here, like, they just lost a customer. That's $200 something they just lost.
Yeah.
Now he may decide to buy it later now that it's out, but you see my point. Think about all those people. That's the potential of money that you're losing. So they have to make that I think it's only prudent that they went to a 6 month window, because that at least keeps people in the ropes a little, right?
But that's the big difference between you guys there in North America and us here, because here there is no way to cancel pre-orders. Once you pay the deposit, it's done. The 50% is on their side, and we cannot cancel. It's not non-refundable. No one complain about that, and we just sit and wait until it releases.
So you can't cancel it over there.
You cannot cancel.
Wow. Wow. Well, they're trying to do that. What won't they be able to hear then, guys? If they with this new, it's like, okay, hey, 6 month span, for instance. Even if you're waiting 5 months within that span, you're not going to be able to cancel it, right? Isn't that the whole point of it?
Well, you have to look at the whole geopolitical sense of everything too, right? Because like we're dominantly capitalist, right? So Sideshow don't care if you cancel here at all. In fact, I think to a certain point they expect it, right? Because they know, and that's extra money in their pockets, because they will sell eventually. That's the thing.
And
like,
we don't have coupons also. Like you have the 10%, 20%.
Yeah, we'll get coupons. The Sideshow will gladly cancel our orders, because it just gives them residual income.
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And everybody, don't forget, go ahead and smash the like button. You're watching Monday Night Raw. Do appreciate that like. Let's go ahead and get this to 100 likes for sure. While you're going ahead and doing that, don't forget to subscribe to Brother Cousins his channel below. You don't want to go ahead and miss that. I've got the link in the video, so it's easy. You don't even have to type it in to search it. Same thing with Six Scale Mafia. He is in there. You don't want to miss that on his channel for sure. Subscribe to him. You also got Desy, Metamorphic Customs in the house. Make sure you subscribe to him. Doc Smizzle is in here. Come on. And also got him in the link below. And Big Breda, Joao in the house. Everybody in here. Go ahead and show your support to these guys. Great channels, and subscribe to them. And smash the like button as well. Do appreciate that. For sure. Yeah, it's real interesting. They seem to be, Doc, doing a lot of twisting and turning to shape things around to get it back to where they want people to do. Hey, I don't want you to cancel pre-orders, or we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover ourselves by going ahead and having the 6-month span, saying that these are going to come out then. It's kind of a little bit crazy right now, and it does seem like when you put all this data together and you put all these things together, that there is some sort of change that they're trying to utilize Sideshow and Hot Toys in conjunction together.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do believe that the 6-month window thing, it's related to the FCC changes, but I also think Hot Toys has kind of always been in a 2-quarter kind of release window. If something was expected quarter 1, usually it's quarter 1 to quarter 2 when they post it on their site, and Sideshow will typically just post the earliest quarter release window. So they probably did change that up to have to automatically cancel less orders, so customers aren't constantly having to check in an email box to say, hey, cancel my order or don't cancel my order. So I don't know. I think it makes people less likely to want to pre-order just because they're like, man, that's a really big release window. When can I expect my figure? So I think it's a double-edged sword with what they've done with the release windows. It really boils down to Hot Toys just being more accurate with their production and being on time. So that way we can be confident that they put out a release date, that they can be on time with that release date.
Crazy stuff. All right, so listen, did we get to 100 likes yet? And I say go ahead and do it so that I can actually say the word yes coming in here. Speaking
93 right now on my screen.
93. Let's go ahead and get it to 100 here. You are watching Monday Night Raw. We're going to get to the last segment, and we're going to make it quick, guys, with here. And listen, I'm going to kind of put you guys on the spot. And you can only say, well, look, here we go. We got to go to the crystal ball because you got to wonder. I'm going to go to Brother Cousins first. Brother Cousins, my man Jay. It's been a while since you've been here, put on the spot at Six Scale Cantina. Is this what they call you?
Him the Wizard.
Now, I'll let everybody cop out that wants to. If you want to say Reva, go ahead and do it. Just throwing it out there. You only get one. We don't want to get a super long conversation. You guys in the chat, you girls in the chat, you could do it as well. Jay, what is the next Star Wars announcement, not released, that we're talking about here? What's it going to be? Is it going to be Reva? Is it going to be something else? What's the next announcement?
Mace Windu.
Oh, baby. You didn't just say Mace Windu, did you? What the? Woo!
I hope.
Yes, baby. All right. Got your answer there. Jay saying Mace. Desy, what do you say? What say you?
What's his name? Black Chrysanthemum?
Oh, you took mine.
You didn't just say that. Whoa.
Let's see.
Joao, next.
Desy went too deep. Frog Lady.
Oh my God, I still gotta do it.
I wonder so much.
I would definitely buy the Frog Lady. Come on. Doc, you're on the spot.
I'm going to go with the Rancor. I'm going to keep beating that drum.
Oh man, you're gonna go with the Rancor.
Yeah. I need to put Boba on Rancor. I think that's one of the coolest things that ever happened in Star Wars.
Does that mean we get this too?
Right, I'll see you shortly. There's a meteorite that hit the ground near here. I want to check it out. It won't take long.
I sure as heck would want a Tauntaun if we get a Rancor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, this is good stuff. Anthony, you're on the spot.
Well, if we're talking impossibilities here, then I'd say Cara Dune.
Oh, baby, I gotta go ahead and fill this up.
Oh, really? You're cold?
I mean, of course, that would be cool to round out the Mando crew, you know. But I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Reva, right? I mean, for the because remember they September 3rd, right, is the event at Toy Sapiens.
Yep.
And we did see her in the magazines. If you guys saw the pictures, we did see her teased with Grand Inquisitor. I feel like for Star Wars, that's a given, right? So I don't know what else. I'm hoping some OT stuff though, because they're not going to just have her for the event. That doesn't make sense. That she could be announced any day of the week like a regular Hot Toys release. It's not an event thing, right?
You have the second wave.
Right, and we still have the second Attack of the Clones. So
Mace Windu.
I don't. Well, Mace Windu, but Padme, maybe Kit Fisto. Yeah. I mean, these are likely.
Why no one is talking about the Starfighter? Do you think Hot Toys will not put up that for pre-order?
Oh, that's going to show up too, right? They made another sizzle reel for it. They're bringing it to Japan. They are for sure
putting that for pre-order.
That's coming out. Yeah, that is coming out. I mean,
it's coming already.
But I don't think what is today? The 28th.
30. Year is 30 already.
30? What is it? 29th here? I don't know what day it is.
Oh, Japan. It is the 29th. Oh, wow.
Shit, it's going quick, right? So, okay. So, yeah, I think.
It's
so,
Thursday.
So I think it starts that Monday or something in Japan.
No, Saturday. Saturday is the 3rd.
Saturday. Jesus.
Saturday is the 3rd.
So that'll be our Friday. It'll be our Friday night.
Until then, I think Star Wars aside, if we see anything Hot Toys announcement drops, it's going to be something Marvel. And then we'll see the Star Wars stuff from the Toy Sapiens event.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what's your prediction, Aries?
I don't know. What is it?
Stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
One could dream. One could dream. One could dream. God, could you imagine if they do that? Oh my God!
Everybody's gonna lose their shit.
Do you think they're gonna skip Han, and then for 40th anniversary Jedi they just give us an Endor Han?
I think that's possible, bro. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I really, really do. And so I got to play this for you, Anthony. Is this what they call you?
They call him the Wizard.
No, because I mean, it's like I could actually see them skipping and doing the Endor one because we got so many Endor figures too. You got like the Luke Endor figure. You got the Leia Endor figure. You got Wicket. You got the Scout Trooper. And they teased that Chewbacca. Don't forget, guys.
Yeah, they teased him in the Scout Trooper photos.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it logically, and Hot Toys doesn't usually follow logic. Sometimes they just put something out. You're like, whoa, I wouldn't expect that. But because it's 40th Jedi, right? They could just skip Empire for now. It's been forever since we had a Han and Chewie. We can get that Han and Chewie from Jedi. And then, you know what? At least that will, soothe some of the collectors, right? Because realistically, do you want a Han and Chewie because it's a New Hope? Or do you want, or would you be cool with that Endor one where he's got like the duster trench coat? And you see what I mean?
Listen, dude, I mentioned this yesterday when I was doing the market chart show on Sunday. They've had success before, Hot Toys, in putting out Han and Chewbacca 2-packs. They've sold out. Matter of fact, with the first one they put out, they reissued. Mm-hmm. So you have to wonder, is it possible that they use that data, like you're talking about, Anthony, be like, yeah, okay, you know what? I think we should put out another Han and Chewbacca because it'll certainly sell nowadays with the freaking Mandalorian and how popular Star Wars is.
It'll absolutely sell. And then the thing is now the beauty of this is that the Han and Chewie that we have now, the New Hope stuff, will still hold value. It may dip a little bit, but it'll hold that value because it is a New Hope. So some people that missed out and they just want a New Hope version, you know what I mean? It won't tank that 2-pack or their individual figures. You know, if anything, people will. I firmly believe that a Return of the Jedi Han and Chewie is a no-brainer that's going to sell. You know, it'll just sell. People
and I
just
think,
get it.
Yeah, and the fact that they teased that Chewbacca, I think that there's actually something there with that. I feel like everything they've been teasing lately, which is why I'm really thinking that, is there's purpose to it. So kind of like giving you a little bit of a, insight, kind of foresight into what could come. But yes, and I still think that the Bespin Han will come. But
Yeah,
I can see them
doubt. I think
skipping
it
and
will.
doing that. Yeah.
And
for sure.
You got to remember, they teased Bespin Han for I don't know how many years, but now the new trend that I've been noticing with Hot Toys is that when they've been teasing stuff now, they've been putting it out. The only tease that we've seen thus far that they haven't yet is Mace Windu, which wasn't that long ago. It was in May.
Right.
And now this Reva, which I suspect is coming. Those are the two teases that they haven't followed through with yet. All their teases lately have come to fruition. So we did see that Chewie. I don't know. I'm just saying. But back in the day, it always happened. Look at the original Shore Trooper from Rogue One. When did that come out? 2017, I think. In those photos, the Shore Trooper grunt is present in like half of those photos, and then we just got that one. So it's,
and even the 3PO that we got from Attack of the Clones, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, it was actually already teased some time ago.
Yeah.
And no one was putting it together that would actually be with like, Attack of the Clones anniversary packaging. So it's real interesting. And I honestly think a lot of it had to do, and you guys have seen a lot of it with my shows, had a lot to do with the Last Jedi controversy. And again, like I said, I like the movie. I love the movie. I hate what they did with Luke, but not to get all into that. Really hate what they did with Luke. But it you couldn't even break $300,000 in the box office for a Han Solo movie about Han Solo. So they sure as heck weren't going to put out, no offense to the 212, because people are like, they're ever going to put out the 212 Clone Trooper. Well, they sure as shit are going to now put it out eventually, because it's the 212 with the clones, right? I mean, so when you look at some of those figures, I think that was more the reason why. That you could kind of look at like a lot of the other companies, and they weren't putting it out as well. So I think, like you're saying, Anthony, a lot of that stuff that they had, I think that they may come out with. Like you look at something like a 212 Clone Trooper, that would sell well.
Oh yeah, anything clone's gonna sell well. And I'm not saying it's going to fly off shelves and be grails and things like that. That's a whole different story. But the baseline, what you're saying is it's going to sell well. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to them.
So listen, I know a lot of us have to, this has been awesome. We're going to be almost here at 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it's a Monday night. I'm going to give all you a chance to say what's going on your channel, but let's try and keep it under a minute or less if we can. But again, I also want to tell everybody in here, subscribe to Mafia, subscribe to Brother Cousins, subscribe to Desy, subscribe to Doc, and subscribe to Big Breda Joao. I do got the links to all of them within the video description below. So make sure you do that. Also, are we at 100 likes yet? Let's go ahead and do that and get to that right now. Let's smash that like button. If we are, we got to be close to it. But Anthony, go first real quick. What's going on in your channel, buddy?
Well, hey, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's been a while. It's been a blast. It's been fun. We'll do it again. I just dropped a Terminator retro review. It's been pretty cool. Getting a lot of good responses. Working my way up in subs. Almost hit my 3K. So that's really cool, man. So we're doing that in our Saturday night streams. And if there's some time during certain occasions, I do my morning solo streams, which I haven't done in a while. But I'm not done with them. So we'll probably see more of that when time permits or news is worthy. So, that's it, man. So I appreciate it. It's awesome. Good discussion tonight, guys.
Yeah, and great having you on here. I can't wait to have you on again. It's certainly been too long. Doc, what is going on with Doc Smizzle. And I actually went to your channel earlier to put the link in. What does Doc stand for again on there? Because I'm
that's just my nickname. So but yeah, I have it up there on my banner as Department of Collectibles.
yes,
But
Department of
that's not at all
Collectibles. I
what
loved
stands
it. I
for.
loved it, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just my nickname. But yeah, on my channel, not too much going on lately. Work was killer in July. So it took kind of August off, just kind of like woosahing myself. So I'll probably have my wife and I will probably do like an unboxing maybe this weekend or something, because I do have the Chrome clone coming, and so we do always have fun, when I have her on to do that with me, to share that experience. So I don't know, just kind of revamping what I'm doing on my channel, just try and make it a little bit more cohesive or something, but nothing new anytime soon.
Well, good to have you in here, Doc. Looking forward to having you back again as well. Brother Cousins, you're next. I put this up. You put it on here. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the AM, baby.
Good morning,
Absolutely.
Grills.
Good morning, Grills. That's right. That's right. Yep. So tomorrow we'll be doing Good Morning Grills. It's kind of a questionable grill I'm putting up. And that's going to be Qui-Gon Jinn, and we're asking the question: grill or chase? I think most people would say chase, but yeah, it's going to be a cool figure that we're going to be unboxing. We like to do it. We like to have an unboxing and talk trash early in the morning. So it's definitely going to be great. Also, I just dropped the review of Cable. Go check that out. And yeah, got a lot of fun stuff coming up this week. Once again, Aries, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back. Great to be back. Absolutely.
Well, it's great. It's great to have you back, and it's great to have these paddles again. We'll sure be doing a whole lot of them for sure. Desy, Metamorphic Customs. There's your diorama right behind me there, baby. How's it going at the Metamorphic land?
Pretty good. Can't complain. First of all, thank you for having me, Aries. It's excellent to be part of this great panel. It really is. Love having these talks. On my channel, nothing new for a little bit, working on a larger diorama. So it's going to take a few weeks, but I'm recording everything, so that'll drop in a few weeks. Until then, hey, if you're interested in watching some simple how-to tricks for how to make dioramas or how to take care of your hot toys, visit my channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's an awesome channel. I love what you do there. You got a video up actually of the diorama you made for me, that Darth Maul DX16 one. And that's awesome. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, you absolutely want to go ahead and take a trip down to Metamorphic Customs channels and do that. Big Breda, Joao, all the way from Jakku. What's going on?
Hello. Thank you for having me here. It was an amazing show with all these great people. Yeah, my channel now, my kids are going back to school after tomorrow, so I can back up with my live streams that I stopped for almost 1 month. And I'm going to review Captain Barbossa from the Pirates of Caribbean. It's from SW Toys that is coming out this in a couple of days. And yeah, because I have Jack Sparrow from Hot Toys and no any companion piece.
So
I'm
you're not
hoping
gonna
that one will.
You're not gonna unbox your Poe?
Poe, not yet. I'm waiting for you. We should do unboxing together. I think we are the only two people in the world that ever got that Poe.
I think we'll get a lot of people that'll watch. We need to do that, baby. We have to do that.
That sculpt
like
is
I'm
amazing.
Serious. No, it is. It's amazing, and hey, many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our own point of view. No, Joao, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing.
Make sure you guys all subscribe to Joao. It's awesome in there. And then last but certainly not least, just putting this up on the screen as well. This is sixscalecantina.com. What I have going on next is, if you want to become a Cantina insider, the next show is going to be on Wednesday, August 31st at 7 p.m. And you can see right here up on the screen, the Hot Toys Wizard will be live for insiders this coming Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So you don't want to go ahead and miss that. If you don't want to miss it, you can click on the little join button that's in the channel, see everything that it comes with. If you think you could benefit from it, you want some heightened analysis, some expanded thoughts that I give, you may want to consider joining the channel. Again, Hot Toys Wizard live for insiders this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. And you could also go here to sixscalecantina.com and see all kinds of samplings of different video batters that I have up here for insiders as well. You see that crazy unboxing of Jango Fett. I got my Luke 40th anniversary Luke unboxing, crazy unboxing that's going to be coming out as well on the channel, pre-recorded. Again, Hot Toys Wizard Live coming at you this Wednesday. Join the channel and come and join me, baby, if you wish. Gentlemen, this was fun as heck, but I'm a little hungry now for dinner, and I'm sure you all are as well. But such a pleasure having you, having everybody back in here. Remember, I don't always buy coffee out or spotchka, but when I do, I get it from Six Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Ready.